Hello, Lewis.
What's up, brother?
I don't know. I'm just jamming to this music.
Yes, man.
Football Fridays, we're back here. Luis Diaz, Will Althoff. We're taking you up until 6 o'clock. Thank you for joining us as always. I'm just reading some of these sports headlines today. One of them, Malik Neighbors clears concussion protocol.
What about the local one?
He suffered the concussion on October 3rd. Here we are 15 days later. He's back.
That's it. You got to go on IR.
Yeah, you got to be out for at least 4 games.
You got to go on
IR. Whatever it is,
Come on.
right?
Or no, you know what they did? They gave him the smelling salts.
Oh, maybe it was his ankle.
It was, it was the ankle concussions that smelling salts can cure. That's what it was.
Must have been. How you doing this Friday?
Brother, good. A-Chan's back from his concussion protocol, too.
Yeah.
That one I'm not going to make jokes about because it affects us.
Yeah, we need that. And it sounds like Tua will be back in 2024 at some point.
Jesus
back
Christ.
from his concussion protocol as well.
You know what's so funny? I'm listening to the press conference today, and Barry Jackson, God bless you, bud. He asked it 14 different ways, and McDaniel gave zero answers.
He's never going to say it. He's never going to say anything.
I'm hoping Sunday we get a win. He's feeling good, and he can say, Tua's coming back next week.
No.
What y'all think? No, he's not gonna.
He's not going to say anything.
Tua's going to be under center. The sideline reporter's going to be like, so is Tua playing today? It's the 2024, I don't know, adversity's opportunity.
It might be. We don't have timetables. We don't do timetables around here.
I hate this.
Crazy.
Bro, that game last night.
It was so bad.
And it's great because, Denver fans are like, no, what are you talking about? It was a great game. That was such a bad game.
So bad. I was flipping between that and the baseball games, but I took the under in this game, 37.
As any smart sports fan would have.
There shouldn't have been more than 20 points total in this game last night. I also took Spencer Rattler over half a touchdown and Bo Nix over 1.5 touchdowns.
You got to imagine he at least runs one in.
Maybe.
Come on.
Neither of them put a single one on the board. So.
Wait, it was all on the ground and defensively?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I didn't realize that.
Neither of them had a passing touchdown last night.
I did not realize that. What a boring
game.
That
was a stinker, and which is good because I would have put those in my octopus last night. I did not. Those were
Let's go,
separate
baby.
bets.
Let's go. You've learned. Let me get my Thursday bets. Let me get my Sunday, Monday bets.
After those last couple of weeks where Thursday has just ruined it for me, Jake Haener threw the New Orleans passing touchdown.
Who?
Exactly.
I know who that is, but come on. Can't be doing that.
He was 3 of 4, 38 yards and a touchdown. 99.8 QBR, 143.8 passer rating. I think he starts next week.
So now we're talking the Colts, the Titans, and now the Saints as the backup quarterbacks doing better. And I know Spencer's a backup, but we're talking about his backup.
Backup of the backup,
exactly. The backup of the backup doing better than the starter. And here are the Dolphins with Tyler Huntley spending all week learning how to throw a no-hitch pass.
I like that he called some of the receivers and said, hey, can you guys come back so we can get our timing down a little bit? A couple of guys came back too, which is nice.
You know who didn't? The guy who posted a TikTok in France.
Paris is a long way from the Baptist Health training facility.
Hey, I'm sorry, brother. I don't know if I can make it.
Yeah, just got here. Just opened a bottle of wine. Not going to be able to make it. But Tyreek, I'm expecting him at some point to catch a touchdown pass.
Hey, I got him in my octopus.
Do ya?
I got him in my eight leg parlay.
Ooh,
that's how I know I'm going to lose.
We'll be talking octopi coming up around 5:30 tonight. Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. He's going to join us around 5:15 to talk about Sunday's game in Indianapolis. We've also got Brandon Kravitz from the Fantasy Fix checking in around 4:45. Dave Brousseau from the Broward County Athletic Association. He checks in as well, talking a little bit about the high school games happening this weekend. Our South Florida High School Football Report brought to you by Baptist Health. That is coming up. We're going to hear from the Dolphins. We're going to hear from the Colts. There's a whole lot of stuff happening today, Lewis.
How about not tomorrow morning? Sorry, my days are mixed up.
Okay.
The only 2 teams that the Dolphins have beaten are playing overseas at 9:30.
That's going to be the worst game of the week.
That might be the worst game of the year.
Probably. Hammer the under on that one.
And it's not going to be like a defensive showing. It's just going to be a nothing burger.
Yeah, it's
where the offense
boring.
won't be able to do anything, and the defense is like, thank God, because I wasn't planning on stopping you. It just sounds awful. Like how bad I just realized those are the only 2 teams we've beaten. It's the London game. This is the reason that the people say stop with the overseas stuff in the NFL. This is where London's going to finally be like, you know what? I don't think we need any more games. You know what? Thank you. It was fun. Love it.
Hey, the Bears looked really good over there last week. They got
The Bears look good.
They at least had that.
Caleb
and there were
Williams.
a lot of Bears fans at that game. Yeah, Caleb Williams looks amazing.
He made me want to paint my nails, brother. I was like, God, that's great.
They looked all right over there. Jacksonville, I mean, they're the home team this week. They weren't the home team last week, but they're the home team there. They did not look good last week.
What about Goodell saying that, you know what, I'd be open to a Super Bowl overseas?
I don't like that. I don't like it.
Look, man, I love Earth, but I love America more. And if I ever find out that they're putting a Super Bowl overseas, I'm gonna watch it so angrily, and I'm gonna buy all the people that buy ads on the Super Bowl. I'm buying a lifetime supply of things from their competitor.
Here's the thing that I think works against that. Is the time difference means the 37-hour pregame show where they jam in 8 billion commercials starts at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Jesus.
So, there's a lot less eyes on all of those ads as a result. So I don't know if the NFL does it, because if they have to play the game at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's prime time for people to start tuning in to watch those pregame shows.
I just see you're a man of science. And you're using science to help me feel better.
I'm thinking of the bottom dollar. That's all it is.
I'm just thinking of, I don't want it out of my country.
That's the thing. I don't think that they should play it outside the country.
It's the National Football League.
This
the Bundesliga is not playing their championship in England. The Premier League is not playing their championship in Italy. They're not.
If you want to play a couple of games over there and let them have the feel of the NFL, I get it.
I don't get why they're not preseason games.
That's a good question, too.
I really don't get it. That's what the NBA did. I saw the Jordan doc. I saw The Last Dance. They go over there for the preseason. Do that.
That makes sense. And then
it makes too much sense, guy.
But do you think that the Jaguars move to London at some point? Is that – I've always heard – Jimmy Cephalo always says that if they do go over there, they're going to have 2 teams, because they have to have a division where it's a 2-week trip for every team in that division. So they go over, they play in London, they play in Germany, they come back, which makes sense because you're going to have to play those teams, and as a result, those teams come over, stay over here for 2 weeks to play those games. So then you got 2 teams over there.
So Cephalo says you can never have one team. You need at least 2 over there.
You would have to have 2.
And so they'd have mirror image of schedules. Or one would just be the week after.
You would always have those backup week to weeks, because to go for that flight over there, you wouldn't want to have to go back and forth. You would just play them 2 weeks in a row.
No, I feel like that's too much.
That is too much.
That's
now
too much
you're
for
talking,
the human beings, the players.
Now, if you're doing that, then just put all 4 teams over there and have a European division.
Dude, do you remember when Madden used to have the English League?
Oh, or you could play as the Rhine Fire in
yes.
there. Yes.
Let's do one of those. Roger Goodell, I know you're not strapped for cash. Just set up a league. I'll even go over there and be a coach. How about that?
You know what? Maybe we'll be the commentators for the league. We'll be like the hosts. We'll be the red zone hosts for the European
That'll
League.
be us. 8 hours of very boring football starts now.
It's the Rhine Fire against the Tottenham Hotspurs. All right, great. So I mean, I guess I understand they want to expand internationally, but those games, man, those games in London. I mean, I like that they're on at 9:30 in the morning, but they're never great football.
No, it's never a great game, and maybe it's just the luck of the draw that they've yet to have a good game. What I love, and it's something I remember from, I think, last year, and someone told me last year, I've been keeping an eye on it, and it happened again this year, that flight back for the losing team.
Oh, it's got to be awful.
With all that time to stew, that's when Robert Saleh got fired.
Yeah.
That's when Philbin got fired. So many coaches of bad teams flying back, that owner just because I know what it's like. The owner's sitting in an uncomfortable. I don't care how rich you are. No airplane chair is comfortable unless it's like a lazy boy, and they don't have those. And so he's sitting. He's got My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 playing on the TV in front of him, but he's not. He's looking at the back of Robert Saleh's bald head, and he's just stewing. And finally, he hits a little turbulence. He's like, "That's it. He's gone."
Aaron would have given me a hug. He would have hugged me. Not Robert Saleh though.
It's such a bad moment for the team.
Has to be.
You got to get rid of it. You got stop playing overseas during the regular season.
That flight back has got to be just awful for the team that loses.
The worst. And even the team that wins, you can celebrate for an hour, 2 hours, do that Kirk Cousins with the chain thing. But it's a long flight.
You got another 6 hours where you're like, oh,
There's got to be a point where someone's got to. It's like in a standing ovation, that first person to be like, all right, I'm gonna sit down.
I'm good.
I think
we're
I'm gonna
good
sit
here.
down. Like when an artist, the standing ovation when a performing act comes out and everyone's like, woo! You gotta have the Go Jones.
Yeah.
To just be the first person to be like, all right, I know we won, but I got my Big Fat Greek Wedding 2 playing.
I got no problem taking one for the team. I'm going to sit down.
I'm going to go sit over here.
All right, everybody, we're sitting.
Guys, that's all.
Put it down. We're good. That's Luis Diaz. I'm Will Althoff. Coming up on the other side, we're going to hear from Mike McDaniel. This week he talked about Tua, a little bit about the changes in the AFC East, and Anthony Richardson, what he sees from him, because that's going to be the quarterback that they're likely going to be facing on Sunday in Indianapolis versus the Colts. This is Football Fridays.
You know, Tua is our leader, our captain. So having them back will be, lovely. Obviously, he got to take care of himself first. But, yeah, man, we got a game ahead with Snoop at quarterback, so just got to go.
I love Waddle.
It just seems like, I love that him and Tua are friends for years, obviously been playing since Alabama. And if you watched him during that answer, the actual video, he feels like uncomfortable answering the question because he doesn't want to give up too much information.
Yeah, he knows McDaniel's going to take the belt to him.
So
if
he's
he
like
says
looking
anything.
around like, can I say anything about what's happening right now? So
my favorite is his choice. That would be lovely.
Lovely, right?
That would be lovely.
Yes.
And that's what I tell my daughters. Oh my God, you look lovely.
It's very nice.
And it's such a sweet.
It really is. When he said
adjective.
it, I was like almost caught off guard because it's not something that you would normally hear a football player
You're an athlete,
like that.
NFL player.
Yeah.
I read it on Twitter. I'm like, no, he didn't.
It would be lovely.
That'd be lovely. I
Lovely.
was like, okay.
Yeah, right?
It would be.
So 2024. That's vague answer.
I really hope he gets into politics. Mike McDaniel is who I'm talking about after coaching. And I hope he has a great career as a coach. And I hope, when we get Ben Johnson next year, I hope he finds a really cool home next. No, I'm just kidding. That's no. But he's so good at the word salad. Even if he's not the politician, be the script writer. Because he is the master of not giving anything away, not giving anything up, and just making 0 points after speaking for 10 minutes.
And it was interesting watching him during Hard Knocks in his office, in meetings, completely different guy.
Yeah.
The way he talks is completely different. But in those press availabilities.
You know what it is?
What?
I think because when we saw Hard Knocks and we're watching him do the team meetings, it's Hard Knocks. He can curse. It's whatever.
He can do whatever he wants, yeah.
But in the press conferences, if you curse, you get fined.
Yeah.
I think the ability to curse gives him that freedom. That way he's just letting it rip, and if he feels like he doesn't know the word yet, he's letting an F fly, he's letting an S fly. But in the press conference, he's just got to be like very calm, collected. Like he puts on a mask. He's a different person in front of the media than he is behind the doors.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. With his team and with his players, he is a completely different guy. Yeah. And then he never wants to give anything up. He never wants to say anything.
Brother, give us an answer.
Nothing.
I love that it's about next week. Today, in the press conference, he gave more of nothing, saying is like Barry Jackson saying, hey, I know you're focused on the Colts, but, just in a couple days, less than a week, Tua is eligible to come off IR. Is there anything you can give us? Please, our readers want to know. And he's like, yeah, you're right. I am focused on the Colts.
Well, the other day when they were asking him about it, he was like, basically, well, he can't come off IR today, so I don't want to talk about it. Like, there's no reason to talk about it today because it's not something that's happening today. So let's move on.
You know what I saw? A lot of people are confused because they're saying, man, he's still in concussion protocol, so this is a good thing that they put him on IR. And those are the people getting mad at me when I call it what it is, which is it was for the optics. I feel like those people don't understand. To get cleared from concussion protocol, you need to practice.
Yeah.
You need to do on-the-field drills with your team.
No symptoms as a result.
You are not allowed to do on-field drills while on IR.
Right.
So whenever you're put on IR, that's going to delay the concussion protocol phases, at least until you're cleared to practice. And so for all the people that are listening are like, man, you're so stupid. He's not even out of protocol yet. Brother, he would be. Cam Wolfe on NFL Network was saying he's been symptom-free for several weeks.
Yeah.
He's been on the IR for less than several weeks.
Yes. It seemed like, from all accounts, that if given the opportunity, he would have played the following week.
100%.
So he's been traveling with the team. He's been practicing.
Did you see him at the Children's Hospital yesterday?
No. Really?
He was that. All right, ready?
Yes.
How much time we got?
We got time.
You got 2 minutes? I'll make this fast. I got a conspiracy theory.
Okay.
I got a conspiracy
theory. I like this.
All right. Today, McDaniel you know what? Yeah, I'll just say it. Today, McDaniel confirmed it, by the way. But this is a conspiracy theory I had yesterday. Yesterday, if you look at the pictures on Twitter, Miami Dolphins at Miami Dolphins, you see him playing air hockey with a kid in the hospital. Love that. Great look. Yeah. When you look at him setting up, he's got the second arm sleeve done. So here's what it is. He got the bag when? In the middle of training camp.
Right.
When you're in training camp, you got no days off.
Yeah, you got nothing.
You're moving. So he finally gets the money to afford the second sleeve he's been wanting. And he never has time to go get it. So and his sleeve is a lot. You got to get you're cutting little holes up your entire arm, putting ink in them. It's not a good process.
It's a long process.
He went on IR to get the second sleeve.
Did he get the chunk fixed that came out of the other sleeve last year?
See, that was covered by the jersey, and that's a great question. I'll let you know when he plays against the Cardinals next week. But I truly believe he went on concussion protocol because even today, McDaniel said something along the lines of like, he was doing things that you wouldn't expect when someone's on IR, but, it was all helping him move forward in the process.
Right.
Yeah, man. You look good, you feel good. How do you look good? You get tattoos.
Just sleeves full of tattoos.
He went on the concussion protocol. He went on IR to get his second sleeve because when else was he going to do it?
And those, I wonder if he does it the traditional way. You ever see the way that the Samoans actually do with the hammer and the net? Yeah, it's
I saw it in the beginning of Moana. I would never. I would never.
I can't imagine doing your whole arms, both your arms like that.
Also, we have technology to speed it up.
Yeah.
Look, I don't like AI, but a tattoo machine, bring that on.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So I think if he wasn't going to play next week, we would know by now. You know what I mean?
So?
I think that if there were some sort of reports or he saw specialists and they told him that he shouldn't get back out there, by this point, something would have gotten out.
Because I was thinking the other way.
Really?
Because as much as I do believe he's going to be next week, part of me was like, man, it would have leaked out by now if he was going to get through the IR and get through.
That's what I think. The other, if he wasn't going to play, I think that we would have heard
that would have come out. You know what? Actually, that makes more sense. That does because IR, that's we're going to lose another first-round pick if we mess around with the IR. Like, oh, he's definitely coming off.
Right.
Yeah, you're absolutely.
So I wonder. I don't know.
Maybe he was at the hospital. I hope he got checked out by someone there.
Hey, after you're done with the air hockey, we just want to bring you over to the MRI machine.
Look, the MRI machine's empty right now.
Do you want to swing on through?
Just
we'll
walk by.
Quick.
Just walk through. It's not going to be 30 minutes.
It's good. It's Luis Diaz. I'm Will Althoff. Back on the other side with the sound from the Colts, the opponents for your Dolphins this weekend. Coming up here on Football Fridays.
Guys, you know what I mean? Because if they are in space, if they make one guy miss, it could be a home run. So we got to be all over it.
So I'm
Don't worry. It won't be. Mr. Steichen, you're good.
The Colts right now 3-3. They've got losses to the Texans, Packers, and Jaguars. They lost to the Jaguars.
Dude, we beat that means we're better.
37-34. How were that many points scored in that game? They beat the Steelers.
Was that a Joe Flacco game?
Yes.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Steelers, Bears, Titans were their wins.
They beat the Steelers?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is up with this team? Flacco had 3 touchdowns, 359 yards passing in that game, by the way.
I don't understand how and it's with the Colts and the Titans. How do you look at your starter and truthfully say
That's the guy.
That guy's better than Flacco or Mason Rudolph. I mean, that's what makes Mike Tomlin the best. Maybe not the best, but we speak in hyperbole in the media, so deal with it. Man, but that's what makes Mike Tomlin in that elite tier.
Yeah,
because he has a 4-2 record with a quarterback who's having the best season of his year, not turning the ball over, making not the worst plays.
Right, there you go.
And he says, you know what? Nah, I'm just gonna go to the guy that's washed. And it's like, that's crazy to me. That guy's actually doing fine.
Yeah.
Anthony Richardson and Will Levis are not doing fine. And you're seeing it when their backups come in and outperform them. And you're just giving the ball back to AR, which, by the way, thank you, Shane Steichen. I much obliged. I really appreciate AR-15 playing. But still, man.
So, do you think that the Steelers are setting Russell Wilson up to fail?
Yeah.
I wonder. Or I wonder if they're putting him out there to say, hey, you guys want to come trade for him?
I got to believe, because to me the most confusing part of the entire Steelers season into the offseason was the fact that the team voted Russell Wilson as a captain. Right. And so to me it's like, maybe that's the thing. It's just he's still the leader in the locker room. He never technically lost the starting job. He just got injured.
Yeah.
And so I think to give you some grace, we're going to move your bet back to now. You said by week 3,
right,
Justin Fields would be starting.
He would
you were
last
right.
2 games. So let's see if he lasts 2 games.
But let's see now.
Yeah.
Let's see, because we know Justin Fields can win 4 out of 6 games for us. That's a great record. We know we've got that in our back pocket. Let's see if he's not so washed. Let's see if he can make Steeler country. Let's ride. Let's see if we can ride Steeler country.
What are we riding? Iron?
To the Iron Mill.
Horses or something?
Yeah. Oh, Bon Jovi, you need to start a song. On a steel horse I ride.
There it is.
I wanted to play good football, but I won't because I'm Russell Wilson.
They got the Jets in prime time at home on Sunday night. Then they got a Monday night game against the Giants at home. Strange to have those 2 teams back-to-back at home. And then they're at the Commanders. They're at home for the Ravens. So it's going to be an interesting few games for that team.
I don't think he starts the Ravens game. I think Jaden Daniels outperforms them.
Yeah, the Commanders have been so good this year.
Really, dude, that game while you were at the Kite Fair, at the Kite Festival in Hollover Beach this week, that game was so good.
Kite Festival got washed out.
Thank goodness. You're so lucky.
I sat on my bed, watched that game, pretended to fold laundry. It was amazing.
So lucky. But I was actually looking forward to some Kite Festival recaps. I've never been able to fly a kite. That's why I said
I would have been happy to go to the Kite Festival. I would have popped in and checked out the game on my phone. But hey, it rains. So
oh no,
it happens. Couldn't go.
For me, it's just physical activity over not physical. I'm going to take the not.
Luis Diaz, that is he. I am Will Althoff, and on the other side, we're going to talk about. You hear about Fireman Ed? The Jets guy, Fireman Ed.
I know that he used to be a Dolphins fan.
Was he?
Yeah.
Really?
Hey man,
we're talking about this.
Not everything you read on the internet is true. Let me verify. Let me go.
This is amazing. On the other side, this is
you
football.
have something else for him.
Yeah. I don't want to get into it yet. We'll talk about it on the other side.
Cool.
Football Fridays. Back here on Football Fridays, Will Althoff and Luis Diaz taking you up until 6 o'clock. Thank you to those of you joining us in Orlando on Fox Sports Radio Orlando. We are here on Fox Sports 940 in Miami as well. And on the other side, we were talking about Fireman Ed.
Yeah.
The Jets super fan who yells his head off during the games.
As you so astutely pointed out in the commercial break, the idiot child.
He was a stupid child.
He made dumb decisions as a child. He did.
So Lewis had mentioned that Fireman Ed actually was a Dolphins fan.
Yes.
And I did not believe it, but you actually found
I've gotten it verified on ESPN and through his booking agent's a web profile on him. Yeah, he was a fan of the Dolphins till the mid-'70s, till he turned around 10, and that's when he turned into a Jets fan. So a 10-year-old, having just seen the Miami Dolphins go undefeated,
right,
and then repeating as Super Bowl champs the year after, decided, because I was 73, so they had to have not won the Super Bowl in 74.
74.
And in 75, he was like, No, man, if they're not going to win the Super Bowl every year, I'm out. And then he went to the team that has yet to win a Super Bowl since before then.
Right? Like the 74 Dolphins, they could not improve on their 12-2 record from the season before. They finished 11-3.
Oh, man, what a terrible squad.
Man.
Fire Don Shula.
They lost in the divisional playoffs to the Raiders,
I hate the Raiders
that year. But that was it. Fireman Ed gave up and said, you know what, I want to be a Jets fan.
I hate this.
They stink.
Yo, he makes bad decisions. We're not going to pretend like he doesn't.
So Fireman Ed, he's a little upset. He says the Jets are phasing him out. They haven't been showing him on the Jumbotron during the games and stuff as much as he's used to. And he talks about how they need him to get the fans all juiced up. He's got to lead the JETS chant.
Who gives a JETS?
Right?
Who cares?
Like, how important does this guy think he is that he thinks the team is phasing him out?
You know what's funny? On the Monday night game, he was there, obviously. Yeah. And who does Monday night? ESPN. And ESPN showed him.
Yeah.
Right before the opening kickoff, it showed him doing that ugly arm circle. Yes. Which, by the way, do you not have full range of motion in your shoulder? Just use your whole arm. No, it's like the smallest arm circle.
He never got the rotator cuff surgery.
That's what it is. I don't think he has a rotator cuff at all. He just has a cuff. It doesn't rotate. And he just does the ugliest arm circle. And I was like, oh, man, he's still a thing.
Right, still a thing.
Brother, you're not being paid by the team. No one cares about you. Like, truly, no one cares.
Everybody knows who Fireman Ed is. Cool, do your thing. But, like, now you're talking out against the team. Like,
also, let's talk about superfans being phased out. Jeter didn't let the Orange Miami Dolphins fan renew his season tickets. And he was like, had the money. You remember the guy?
I don't.
Marlins man. Does that name sound familiar?
It does sound familiar.
He wore the orange Marlins jersey.
Okay.
In the background, he would always get home plate seats in every major baseball game.
Yes.
And he would be at other major sporting events.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
He had Marlins season tickets.
Yeah.
Jeter didn't let him renew his seats because he was a distraction. He was trying to give Derek Jeter money, and Jeter said, "Nah, I'm good. Like, stay out of here."
Like, I don't have a problem with these fans doing their thing. Like, let them do their thing. They're paying their money. If Fireman Ed wants to spend $8 billion on Jets season tickets and seat licenses and all that stuff, have a blast, guy.
Do your thing.
But, like, at the same time, don't come out and go, oh, the Jets, they're phasing me out. Buddy, you're not on the team. You're not an employee. You're just a guy. Just who cares?
And this is where I get mad at ESPN. We're a Fox sports station, so I can trash them as much as I want, except now that I'm realizing Fox and ESPN are both owned by Disney, maybe I shouldn't. But here's the deal. Why are you even making this an article? I'm tired of the New York bias on ESPN.
Too, yeah.
This shouldn't even be an article. ESPN, you should have phased him out before the Jets did.
It was in their headline tab. It was one of their top 10 stories yesterday in the little headline bar.
I hate the world that we're living in. I do. I understand the game was awful yesterday, but that's an actual sporting event. Entertainment and Sports Network, I think that's it.
What if Fireman Ed becomes Lifeguard Ed, comes back to the Dolphins?
Does he come in a Speedo?
That would be amazing.
Aqua and orange Speedo?
Dress up like David Hasselhoff in aqua and orange gear like he's going on Baywatch or something?
If he gets an aqua and orange Speedo, aqua and orange headband, and that like...
Oh, he's got to get the cap, like the swimmer's cap and the goggles.
Oh, yeah.
The whole thing.
And that buoy thing that looks like an arrow, that thin one.
Yeah.
If he comes out with that, open arms.
Lifeguard Ed, come on back.
I'll pay for your season tickets. And I'll talk to the media guys at the Dolphins. They'll phase you in.
You'll be... That would be pretty amazing.
No, I hate him. He left us in the 70s.
It's true. Why?
Literally the best time to leave the Dolphins, too, because we haven't done anything since. So, like, I hate that he was kind of smart and clairvoyant.
He jumped out. He was like, he got out on top, left on the high note.
Like, he should be in Wall Street. He knows sell high.
Oh,
like, he sold at the highest.
Yeah.
And everyone's probably buying in on the Dolphins then, like, oh, okay, fine. 2 straight years. They're going to the playoffs the third. I'm going to become a Dolphins fan. He's like, nah, I've seen the future.
We're good. I'm going to take this 50-year mistake and go hang with the Jets.
Yeah, actually, no, I'm so stupid because that's not any better. I'm such an idiot.
You see, swimmer turned OnlyFans creator
Hey, now.
Luana Alonso. She's been approached by a sex doll company because they want to sell replicas of her feet.
Hey, now.
Feet, man. Cats and feet own the internet.
I never, can I tell you? Never understood
I don't
the foot
understand the
thing.
feet.
Never understood the foot thing.
It's not like, I don't understand either.
My wife asked me for a foot rub. I'm like, you understand this is not going to go anywhere. She's like, babe, but what if, even if she was like, I want this to go, I'd be like, nah, if it's starting with the feet, it ends with the feet. This is disgusting.
I think, especially now, my son's feet stink all the time. All the time. I mean, you could smell them from 3 rooms away.
Also, I don't know, do yours come home with so much sand in their shoes?
No, because they never get outside in Broward County for some reason.
That's true. You
the
did tell
heat
me that last
advisory.
week.
But recently, this week, they got out a couple
We got
of
a
times.
cold front yesterday.
Yeah, now they
Supposedly.
got themselves outside. So,
But no,
not the sand.
Let's stop talking about kids so we can transfer back to what you were saying that led into. No, I don't get the feet. That whole fetish. I've never understood the foot fetish.
Fascinating that people would buy replicas of somebody's feet.
Now look, clearly there's a market.
For sure.
If they're
Yes.
selling replicas of her feet, which by the way, she's a swimmer. I thought they wore
Yeah, the little flipper
the
things.
little flipper things. Imagine they sold it with an option for the flipper
For the
thing.
flipper.
That would be, hey, I'm buying just for the bit. I'm buying,
That's
and I'm
pretty
hanging them
amazing.
up right here. No, look, man. I'm a cap. We live in a capitalist society.
Sure.
I'm not
Make your
stupid enough.
money.
I'm not stupid enough to realize that maybe I've thought of anonymously selling feet pics of me and my wife without her knowing. Who knew? I'm not saying anything that's happened, but Feet Finder is a website, and my username is. No, I'm kidding. No.
I'm always like, that's a thing, though.
But it's such like a hardcore thing.
Hardcore, yes.
Because
there are a lot of people out
It's
there.
it's kind of like politics where you love the feet
Yeah.
and you go crazy for the feet, or you're like, I don't care about feet.
You know, I blame I don't
Very
know,
binary.
Was it A&E that did like My Weird Taboo years ago? They had some show.
Yeah.
And I think feet was one of them, and like all kinds of people in love with like bridges. And it's like you find out about these things that people are doing. You're like, these are the parts of society that I didn't really need to know about.
Yeah, this is where we maybe didn't need the internet to get as
No,
successful
like, it's
as
too
it
much.
is. We've got
Little
enough.
too much.
Enough I don't know. But again, Feet Finder is man, I'll tell
Somebody's
I've thought
buying
of it.
them.
I've thought of it.
And you
And
can do
I've
it like, you know,
Brother, I've got like one of my toes goes under the other. Like my ring toe goes under my middle toe.
is that a thing?
I think the uglier the feet, because my wife's got a
Really?
perfect set of feet. I've got the ugliest set of feet, so I think we get both fetishes.
Oh, yeah, knock out 2 with 1 bird.
Brother,
That's not even a thing, but
I might not be here next week because I'm
now you got to paint the toenails, you got to put the rings on and everything. You got to make it like look fancy.
yeah, but the
You gotta
Feet
dress 'em
Finder,
up?
your subscribers are paying for that. Your subscribers pay you the money. You use their money to get the toenail stuff. If Luana Alonso sells her feet to the company, I might launch a Feet Finder.
See, there you go, right? You get them, oh, send me some nail polish that you want to see on my nails. And while you're at it, send me $1,000.
Correct, Mundo.
People pay for anything.
Pervs pay for a lot.
There's somebody out there who's willing to pay for anything.
It's so annoying when pervs have more money than me. Like, I'm normal.
Right? I always wonder that when people spend crazy amounts of money on things like that. Like, and I'm just like, what do you do for a living? That you have the amount? Like, I sent $10,000 to this woman in, Senegal. She's going to be my wife, and I got ripped off. Like,
There was a server at the Improv who was telling me and the GM about how one of the patrons was like, "Do you have LLC?" And she was like, "No. If you have LLC by tomorrow, I give you $10,000." And she's like, "What?" Like, and she was even telling us that she was taking, not on purpose, but like the kitchen messed up her order, the bartender messed up his order, the kitchen messed up his order, the bartender messed up his order, and
Yeah.
she was like constantly apologizing, and he was like, "I give you $10,000 if you get the LLC by tomorrow." And she's like, "I don't think it works that fast." He's like, "It does. Get the LLC. I'll be
Get
back
it.
for
I'll
the
give you
show
money.
tomorrow."
Oh, my God.
And
People pay for anything.
I was in the office getting my check while she came in asking to work the next day. She's like, "Can I work tomorrow? I know I'm not on, but I need
I'm trying to set up my
$10,000."
LLC currently. Like, if somebody says, hey, I'm going to give you $10,000, What do you think they're asking you to do after the LLC?
Brother, that's not the question. The question is how much you want to do. Because I'm taking your money. You take. Hey.
How long we got to do it? That's Luis Diaz. I'm Will Althoff. Coming up next hour, we're going to hear from Dave Rousseau, the Broward County Athletic Association, talking a little bit about some games coming up tonight for our high school football report. Also going to hear from Brandon Kravitz, the Fantasy Fix. That's coming up at 4:45 here on Football Fridays. I love the robot music. I'm a big fan of the robot music.
Dude, I've never been to Ultra.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to go.
I think it would be too much. Like, it's too sensory overload.
That's my thing is I've always been surrounded by people that don't want to go.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to go.
I would go.
And it's like I'm not obsessed as much as these guys, and I wouldn't be on as many drugs or substances as these people are that go, but I would love to try it. I'd love to sober it up over there.
All the body paint out there and the people just going nuts. You know what else I'd like to experience? The gathering of the Juggalos.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Isn't that violent?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think if you're, like, into the Insane Clown Posse and if you're one of those people who's a Juggalo, like, you're just, like, part of the group.
But it doesn't get violent?
I mean, it might. I mean, I'm not trying to go into the mosh pit.
I'm going to be in the back.
The gathering. But I just want to, like, it's one of those things that you just hear about and you read articles and see pictures and you're like, I got to see what's going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, curiosity killed the cat, but it lit me. But you know,
I'll drink Faygo. I'll go hang out, and watch backyard wrestling at midnight in the dark in the woods somewhere. Why not?
Why not, man? You live like YOLO, baby.
YOLO. That is exactly right, Lois. You're only going to live once. You might as well go to the gathering of the Juggalos, some random forest in Indiana or something.
That'd be so funny.
It's like the other end of the spectrum from a Fish concert.
Would you? Question: would you put on the makeup?
I mean, probably just to make sure that I don't get like harassed.
Yeah, so you blend in. You
yeah, try and blend in,
yeah.
Right? Or at least you got to throw in a T-shirt or something. T-shirt, ripped up flannels, some jeans. There you go.
You've thought about this?
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been interested in going for a long time.
I love this.
I don't know why. I just never made it, but so there you go. You learn a little bit about
look
me.
At that. We learn.
So it's Football Fridays, which means we should be talking about football.
Not Juggalos or Ultra?
No.
We're going to talk about the Devontae Adams
Look
trade.
at this terrible game we were watching. They're showing the game from last night.
That was such a fun game to watch for anyone in Denver, I guess.
Yeah. I wonder about the fans in New Orleans. They start out the season 2-0. They look like they're doing great, and then all of a sudden it's just nosedive.
If you're wondering why I'm only drinking water, it's because I drank all the Kool-Aid for the Saints in the beginning of the season.
Rashid Shaheed looked like he was going to be the MVP. Offensive Player of the Year.
Dude, all-pro wide receiver. It was unreal. It was unreal how good they looked.
And then they came back to earth.
Is Derek Carr out for the year?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure if he's out for the year. But he was out last night, and Spencer Rattler did not perform well.
No,
at all.
That's a good way to put it.
He did lead in passing yards last night though with 172. So Bo Nix didn't do much better, but he pulled out the win. So
yeah, it says according to Yahoo Sports, he'll be back in a couple of weeks.
There you go.
Derek Carr.
By that time, they'll be way out of it.
Which is the same thing as the Dolphins are kind of dealing with. Like, if we win and we're 3-3, Tua, you're coming back, baby.
Yes.
But if had we lost to the Patriots and we lose this week to the Colts and we're 1-5, Tua, do you even
2-4? They'll be 2-4 after this week if they lose.
Well, I was saying if we lost to the Patriots as well.
Oh,
we
I
didn't
got you.
already.
Yeah,
but I get what you're saying. If we lost, if we lose this week and we're 2-4,
yeah,
does Tua want to come back? You can come back from 2-4. You can. I've seen it happen.
I think that, especially a guy like that who wants to play football. Obviously, because he's been concussed multiple times and keeps coming back. Yeah, I think he wants to get back out there and he wants to play. He wants to prove that he can make something happen and turn the season around.
But that's why that win in New England was so important.
Yes,
because
for sure.
2-4, way more like that's a pill I can swallow, especially watching the film. Brother, my daughter yesterday, I'm dropping off one kid. My other one has the day off from school, and my wife is watching PBS Kids.
Okay.
My wife says, "Hey, I want to change this." She says, "The only way you can change this is if you put on the Dolphins." And my wife calls me like, hey, apparently Maya's into the Dolphins because she said I can only take off Pinkalicious for the Dolphins. I was like, make sure it's the Patriots game. And she's like, yeah, our DVR doesn't have anything other than the Patriots game. I was like, good. And I drop off the girl, I get home, and I'm watching the Patriots game again, and I'm just like, Tua would have hit that guy. Tua would have hit him. And so if you're watching the film and you're seeing all these open receivers and you're 2-4, you can, brother, you're 2 weeks away from being 500. If you're 1-5, that's a big hill to climb. So I think that was super important to win in New England. I think even more important now is just the task at hand. Maybe because it's the task at hand now, but like, brother, you've got to go to 3-3.
If they had won that game against the Titans, that first week that the other AFC East teams all lost, and then they won again against the Patriots in Week 5, we wouldn't even be having the conversation about, let's see if Tua comes back.
Well, we're 2-3, so we'd be 3-2.
Right.
Would be tied for first?
The Bills are 4-2, right?
Ugh, whatever.
So, but right there, you know what I mean? We'd be ahead of the Jets.
Yeah.
So there would be none of this, I don't know, or, should Tua come back? And that's only one game. It's crazy how much one game changes everything in that sense. They're 2 games out of it. Obviously, they still got a ton of games left on the schedule. So I don't think there's any way that Tua doesn't come back and say, yeah, I want to lead these guys and take them to the playoffs.
These other sports fans have it so good, they don't even realize. 80-plus games. 162 for baseball, but 80 for hockey and bat. Like, you can lose a game. Panthers lost this weekend.
Yeah.
Fine.
That's it.
Who cares?
It's all good.
I hate this. I hate how much is put on it. It ruins me.
I feel like every game from here on out is must win.
No, not until we get to 8-3 again. You know what's crazy is that McDaniel's going to find a way to get to 8-3.
Colts, Cardinals, Bills.
Oh, never mind.
Rams, Raiders, Patriots.
If we're 7-4.
Every one of those games, aside from the Bills game, is totally winnable.
100%.
Right?
And I'd love to be a Dolphins fan and say that Bills game is winnable.
Let's be honest.
We're not stupid either.
In Buffalo.
Yeah. Hey, I love being surprised. I've been wrong a lot.
Listen, with Tua coming back, if they can win that game against the Cardinals, if they win against the Colts this week, they're on like a 3-game winning streak going into that game in Buffalo.
Hot.
They'll at least keep it close. I don't know if they win, but they'll keep it close.
As soon as you said with Tua coming back, all I could get was a mental picture of Kevin Garnett just going, anything is possible! With Tua coming back, anything is possible!
That's it, man. As opposed to Paul Pierce hopping up and, my leg! I think they got a good shot this weekend. The Colts haven't really shown anything.
You know what's funny is I have Amari Cooper on one of my teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like about to cut him.
Oh, good thing you didn't.
And now that he's with Josh Allen, I'm like, but then again, like, how long is it going to take him to acclimate? It's not like Adams that has that he knows.
The rapport, yeah.
You know?
But also at the same time, like, do you want him to perform?
No. Well, most weeks, yes.
As long as he can get a touchdown, just lose.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't know how to feel about these moves. To me, Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, man, that was great.
Yeah,
that was 4 years ago,
right?
3 years ago.
I think he's played 3 seasons with the Raiders, so I think it was 4 years ago. Right.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. Especially you got a 31, 32-year-old wide receiver. You got a 40-plus-year-old quarterback out there now. It's a different world.
Can't call a Hail Mary every play.
Right.
Can't do that.
And, like, what does that do for the rest of the receiving core? I mean, Alan Lazard, his guy.
Oh, done.
He's done.
Done.
You got Garrett Wilson. What happens to his touches?
Well, is he fine? Is he fine?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I also don't care. Let Fireman Ed worry about him. You know what I mean? But I'll be real. Look, I hate the Jets. I'm never going to give them a compliment. I will say facts are facts, and the facts are Wilson Adams might be the second best. Too. Might be the second best one too.
Yeah.
And with quarterback situations that they are being what they are right this second, they're not number 2.
Right. That's the problem. is that now because of Rodgers and the addition
you got Rodgers on one hand, Snoop on the other.
Right. That's the thing with Tua out. And Tyreek talked about it this week, about how the teams upgraded at wide receiver, but he says, I'm still the best receiver in the league.
I think so.
And I can't disagree. He's been playing, like you said, with Tyler Huntley. He's not playing with his quarterback.
We still have 2 Ferraris in the garage.
Tyrod Taylor is the backup in New York for the Jets.
Man, he's been everywhere.
He has been. He's been on a lot of teams. But they aren't a great wide receiver group with him at quarterback.
No.
It's because Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback.
Unless they're playing the Dolphins, because Tyrod Taylor is like Josh Allen. Like they just know how
kryptonite.
they just know how to beat the Dolphins. But you're right. Like Tyrod Taylor ain't doing.
He's not going to do anything for them.
He's putting up Snoop Huntley numbers.
Right. Mitchell Trubisky is the backup for the Bills. I mean,
dude, hold on. Could you imagine Tyrod Taylor? I think I just disrespected Snoop because let's not forget. This is a Nathaniel Hackett offense. I know he's not calling the plays anymore, but this is his Tyler. Brother, I don't care who your quarterback is. If it's not Aaron Rodgers
right,
with Hackett's play call and play scheme, you're done. You're done. We saw it last year with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
You're done.
They can be a great group of receivers, but it has to start with the quarterback.
And they've got a good one. They
got a good one, but that's the thing with the Dolphins. Tyreek says he's the top receiver in the league. We're going to see when Tua comes back. We're going to see if they can put it back together.
Brother, I just feel bad. There's no way he's getting 2,000 now.
Nah.
It'd be crazy if he does.
I'd love to see him get a touchdown one of these weeks. It's been too long. We got so used to that stuff last year. So many points.
Automatic. Him
so
and
much
Raheem
fun.
Mostert. Automatic.
Right? Now it's like.
We averaged the lowest points per game? I saw that on Bleacher Report this week. Made me very sad. How did the team that put up 70 a calendar year ago,
right,
now the worst points per game?
They had the most points scored through the first 5 weeks in NFL history last year, right?
Remember that?
Yeah, remember that? Not now.
Here I am, just in my head. Here's my problem. If we win, and we're 3-3, until it comes back, with 3 before we play the Cardinals game, in my head, I am back to where I was before week 1.
Oh, all Kool-Aid.
With Super Bowl aspirations.
Yeah, gallons 100%. Of Kool-Aid.
And if after that game, he is either injured or does not perform well, I don't care about rust, and I should, because a smart person takes all things into account. I'm not a smart person. I never said I was. If he does not play well and we go to 3-4, I am back on the Ben Johnson Cam Ward train.
Oh, yeah, they got to win this weekend. Must win.
You do. You have to. The Colts are done.
Must win this weekend, and then if Tua comes back next weekend, it's a must win as well. You got to see him, because when he did play to start the season, he was a little off.
It wasn't great.
Yeah. So you want to see him put something together.
You hope this time, like seeing it from that perspective on the sideline, seeing it on the film, you hope that gives him like oh, wow, yeah, okay, like this is how they're playing us, this is how they're doing things. Okay, I could have gone here. I'll go here next time. Like, it's just a different perspective from seeing the field. Hopefully it pays off.
He's had nothing else to do but watch film for the past 4 weeks.
Oh, and go to Disney on Ice.
And play air hockey.
And play air hockey.
And get the sleeve.
Yeah, but that's sweet that he played the air hockey
that's awesome.
at the Children's Hospital. And the sleeve, that's even sweeter. Like, that is nice.
That's Luis Diaz. I'm Will Althoff. On the other side, we're going to talk to Dave Brousseau from the Broward County Athletic Association. Got a bunch of big games happening on the high school gridiron this weekend. It's our South Florida High School Football Report brought to you by Baptist Health, coming up next on Football Fridays. Some big matchups, but last week's game between St. Thomas and Chaminade, that was the big one.
I thought you were going to say Ferguson and Sunset. My Ferguson Falcons won 35-0.
There you go. Wow, that's a big score.
It's like the Dolphins playing the Bills.
I saw Ferguson won a bowling title or something too. It was actually on the front page of the Herald in the high school sports section.
We are highly rated as maybe one of the top 1,000 bowling schools in the country. So you'd probably be right.
Top 1,000.
One of the top 1,000. For sure.
It's good. Yeah. So there's some good games happening.
What game were you talking about though?
Well, I was going to mention the St. Thomas and Monarch.
I guess.
Because obviously St. Thomas, they're the big powerhouse down here, and they lost last week, so they're looking to bounce back. But we'll see what happens. So,
I don't know, man. I'm barely into my own alma mater. I do tell you the Norland game tonight in Traz Powell.
Oh, Norland and Central, that game's going to be wild. Yeah, that game should be really good.
That one is, if I could get away from if I was going to watch a high school game, that's probably the one I'd go to.
Northwestern and Central, when they played a couple of weeks ago at Traz Powell, there were like 7,000 people there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Like, that's a huge game. So
even Cristobal was saying that he went to a couple games.
Yeah.
During the bye week last week that they had, he went to a couple games. And I forgot which one he mentioned, but it was one of those powerhouse versus powerhouse. I think it was the one from 1981, the 1981 game.
Oh, right. It was the last time they played each other. And Chaminade. Yeah, that was the last time they played
he was talking about who was at that game.
And that was supposedly a great game last week.
I wasn't there. You can ask Cristobal if you want. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's tough because there's so many teams scattered around this region to be able to follow all of it and be able to get to all of these games and see it all.
Yeah, man, I commend the dudes that do it.
It's a lot to cover these teams.
And I like that. I don't like it because it's my alma mater that deals with this. But they're so clearly like, look, we're not going to pay attention to Coral Park. We're not going to pay attention to Sunset, no Varellas. We're going to look at these 8 schools. And if you want us to notice you better play one of them in their preseason game and do well.
Or at least try.
Columbus, Central, Northwestern, Norland, and maybe Homestead.
Yeah.
Those are the only Dade County ones that they're going to look at. Maybe I missed one. Sorry, Ferguson. My bad. But no, those seem to be like the only 5 Miami-Dade schools. And then, of course, in Broward, St. Thomas Aquinas, Chaminade. I know I'm missing one. But I think that's it.
Yeah.
Again, it's not our world. Again, it's not.
Yeah.
We're Football Fridays because of
and that's why
the
NFL. That's why we ask people like Dave Brousseau from the Broward County Athletic Association or Andre Fernandez from the Miami Herald. These are the people that we rely on because they're the people who are covering it and they know everything about what's going on with these teams. So.
It's not on the Hard Rock Bet app, but if you could just bet for Ferguson to win the state championship, I'm not going to tell you you're going to lose money, but I'm not telling you you're going to win it either. So I'd put my money on it.
That is Luis Diaz. I am Will Althoff. On the other side, we're going to tell you who we are and who we are not bringing to the tailgate, brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. That's coming up next here on Football Fridays. Football Fridays is live.
Yes, dude.
We're coming to you live from South Florida, beautiful Pembroke Pines. I'm Will Althoff. That's Luis Diaz. Taking you up until 6 p.m.
I'm glad to be here, Will. I am very glad to be here.
We're here on the East Coast of Florida. If you're checking in on the iHeartRadio app, you might be listening right now at 1:30 in the afternoon on the West Coast.
Would you look at that? We're national.
Sometimes you just got to turn it on, Lewis.
Dude, it makes me laugh. I don't care if the people listening are tuning out. I do. Please don't. It's our jobs.
Don't tune out, please.
We'll stop.
No, we'll talk normally. This is how we regularly talk.
Guys, come on. Yeah. We're here.
Come back. So this is where we tell you who we're bringing to the tailgate and who we are not bringing to the tailgate, brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. And I had somebody that I was going to bring to the tailgate. I'm not really sold on this person, so I have somebody that I'm not going to bring to the tailgate.
Is it the same person that you just flipped?
No. I had I had a bring and a not bring, and I was like, I don't know.
You don't need to invite someone every day. Sometimes you can have a solo tailgate, just you and me.
This might be a little too soon, who I'm not bringing to the tailgate. His name's Jay Cutler.
No, but he has so much fun when he drives home from the tailgate.
He might bring his gun.
Yeah.
Show up with a gun. Jay Cutler today got arrested this morning. Was it this morning, right?
Yes. I got the alert this morning.
Yeah, early morning that he got Thursday night after he got into a crash, faces 4 charges, DUI, possession of a handgun, exercise due care to avoid a collision, and implied consent. I don't know what any of those things are, but unfortunately, Jay Cutler was arrested this morning for DUI. He was released around. It did happen last night, so it happened before 7, and he was released around 10 o'clock last night. So
okay,
Jay Cutler
knows how to party.
knows how to party. Here's the thing: I don't want him to come to the tailgate because I don't want to have to say, Jay, I need the keys, bud.
No, you won't, though. Hey, Jay, I trust you. You can drive home.
Jay, we're going to get you an Uber. Hope you've had fun. So that's who I'm Not going to bring to the tailgate, unfortunately. Yeah, I feel bad for Jay Cutler. Like, he got divorced from Kristen Cavallari.
Yeah, he did. And my wife loves her.
Yeah.
She was on that show that my wife loves.
And now The Hills. Was it The Hills?
No, Selling Cavallari or
Oh, well, that was
Cavallari?
later, but she was
Yeah.
originally on The Hills.
Oh,
right?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So he was arrested in Tennessee last night, unfortunately. Jay Cutler.
That man knows how to have a good time.
He seems like he's a fun enough guy.
Dude, I saw a hype video for Jay Cutler a couple weeks ago on Instagram. I had to watch it 14 straight times. Because it's like showing all these other quarterbacks making fine enough plays.
Yeah.
He's like, you know who doesn't do this? Jay Cutler! And it's showing him trucking people. I'm like, man, I forgot. When he wasn't with the Dolphins, he was a half-decent quarterback.
He was all right with the Bears. They had a lot of hope. Every year that he was the quarterback of the Bears, they always felt like it was their year.
He never threw for 4,000 with the Bears?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because isn't that the thing? The Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer? But I feel like he would have. He's a little gunslinger.
Right? Yeah, he definitely threw for a lot of yards. You would think that.
You know what's funny?
Maybe.
For the same reason you're not inviting him, I'm inviting him. I like the chaos.
I like that.
I like the chaos. But he's not who I'm inviting. I do want to go first to who I'm not inviting while you look up this Jay Cutler stat.
4,500 yards he had with Denver, 3,800 his most with the Bears.
Okay, so yeah, the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard
go.
quarterback. Here's who I'm not inviting.
Okay.
You know what I don't like? I don't like people that steal my flow. And you know what my flow is?
No.
I do nothing in the group project, but I do the presentation because everyone else is nervous.
There you go.
And I get something. I like to be the face of the group, but do no work.
But you're really, to them, you're doing the hard work.
Yeah, but they're dumb. As much as I love that for me, don't like it when other people do it. Bo freaking Nix.
Ugh.
They put up, what, 30 or 40?
33.
They put a 30-burger on Drew Brees night in New Orleans, and everyone's like, man, this Bo Nix. You wake up the next morning, you're like, oh, wow, Bo Nix scored 33. Bo Nix didn't do crap.
Nothing. Didn't do squat.
But here he is getting all the accolades for a defense that put up 70 a year ago, didn't fire their defensive coordinator. Everyone was confused, and they're now one of the best defenses in the league.
They had a defensive touchdown, Javonte Williams.
Multiple takeaways. I think 3 takeaways.
Yeah, two rushing touchdowns for Javonte Williams. Bo Nix, 164 yards, and that was it.
Don't like him. Because I was initially not going to invite Spencer Rattler because he's just like the one guy. Because I was writing this down.
I feel bad for Spencer Rattler. I'm gonna invite him.
He's the one guy that's not performing, and I'm like, man, imagine inviting a group of guys. Everyone's bringing like chicks, and they're cool with talking to the girls and drinks and stuff. And you got the one dork who's just like ruining the vibe. That to me was Spencer Rattler, and that was gonna be my argument for not inviting him. And then I was just like, well, no, Bo Nix didn't do anything either.
Nothing.
But he thinks he's doing stuff. People think he's doing stuff. He's not. He's not doing anything.
It's very Tebow-esque in the sense that, like,
yes.
he's just managing. He's just there. He's not really doing anything on offense, but somehow they're getting these wins.
Now they got a winning record that they don't deserve.
3-1 away from home are the Broncos.
That's impressive.
Right? Like, they go on, they can't beat anybody at home, but when we go on the road, watch out. They beat the Buccaneers in Tampa. They beat the Jets in New York, and they beat the Saints in New Orleans. Wild.
The who in New York?
The Jets.
The Jets. Well, that's not hard.
10-9. What a terrible game. I
remember that game. Oh, my God. That was the worst game.
That was that awful game.
Bo Nix puts on the worst games.
But he really seems to. They won 26-7 over the Buccaneers in Tampa.
That's impressive.
That is impressive.
That's actually pretty good.
That's really good
How
because
did he do in that
Tampa's
game?
good.
Do you see that?
I'm looking right now. Bo Nix, no touchdowns.
Of course. Hey, of course.
He had a rushing touchdown.
No, that doesn't count.
No passing. No.
If Joe
it does.
Burrow,
that's an anytime touchdown right there. If anything, that counts more.
That counts double. Yeah,
that
you're
counts
right.
more.
But if Joe Burrow can get a 50-yard touchdown run, I don't care about Bo Nix.
22-yard was his long rush in that game. 47 yards total. He scored that touchdown on the ground.
Spencer Rattler just looked so bad.
Yeah, like that's why they had him under half a touchdown last night passing because they knew. I was like, he's got to throw for one touchdown.
Everyone's looking at that like a gimme.
Yeah, one touchdown. He just happens to dump it off to Alvin Kamara, run in for the touchdown.
That's all you got to do.
That's it. That's all I'm looking for. Couldn't even
he
make that happen.
Dumped it
last
off to the
night.
defensive end for. Does that count as a touchdown, a pick six? That
It
should.
should.
That should.
It's a touchdown.
I'm calling the Hard Rock Bet app. Hey, whoever
They're
the
not
sales
taking
guy
your
is for
call.
the Hard Rock Bet app, give them a call.
They're not taking your call.
They're not calling.
You know who I did want to bring? I'll tell you who I was gonna bring to the tailgate.
I like that this is like a half-ass kind of invitation. Too.
I've changed my mind. I am gonna bring him.
Are you sold on this invitation or are you not?
I'm sold in the sense that it might help us this weekend.
Let me hear it.
I'm gonna bring Joe Flacco.
Hell yeah.
I want him to come on over.
Hell yeah.
We could use him. He's been very good, but also get him tanked so he can't play Sunday. Just leave Anthony Richardson out there.
Hell yeah.
Let him do his thing. Don't put Joe Flacco out there at any point in the game.
I want no part of Joe Flacco.
No, that's the thing.
I want 60 minutes of Anthony Richardson.
Yes. I don't think anybody expected Joe Flacco to come out of nowhere for the Jets and the Browns and now the Colts. I couldn't come up with the name. The Colts.
They don't deserve a name. You're good.
Indy. We'll just call him Indy.
Indy. Indy.
But this guy is just like, he's the quarterback that just isn't going away.
It's impressive how I feel like he got no love at the end of his Ravens career.
Yeah, they
Like,
just
the
let
man-
him go. They
the
brought
man
Lamar
won a
Jackson
Super
in and they
Bowl.
were like, forget it, you're done.
And he didn't. I get saying he won the Super Bowl is a stretch. You had Ray Lewis and Ed Reed.
He was still a winning quarterback.
But he was still the freaking quarterback,
Still
my
the guy.
And he won the Super Bowl. I still remember that pass to, not Torrey Holt, on the sideline.
No, was it?
No, Torrey Holt played with freaking Kurt Warner.
Yeah. No, who was it? Torrey Smith. Was it
Yes.
Torrey Smith?
Maybe. That sounds about right. It probably wasn't because we're not Ravens fans. But yeah, I remember that sideline touchdown. He came up with some Joe Flacco magic. He's never been a bad quarterback.
No, he's been a productive quarterback, and he did what he had to do.
I loved him. I loved him with the Browns. I like that it didn't really affect us, and he made Deshaun Watson look bad. That was my favorite. I don't know how, and that's another move. Like Kevin Stefanski wins Coach of the Year because, wow, my third string quarterback it gives us a winning record. But how do you win Coach of the Year, have that quarterback, and then say, you know what,
We're gonna let him
I'm
go.
gonna keep the Predator.
Yeah.
Like, no, dude. You know who oh wait, what were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, Joe Flacco, through his career, 17 years, he's got 252 passing touchdowns to 156 INTs.
That's a gunslinger, baby.
It's really good. He's 7-1 this season. 7 touchdowns and a pick.
Huh.
In the 3 games he's played, 2 starts.
See, I would have taken him. As Tua's backup.
Yeah.
All day.
100%.
All day, twice on Sunday.
That's it. Well, here's the thing. How much money does Joe Flacco want? Maybe that's it. Maybe he just wants a lot of money.
Yeah, we got to pay Tyreek. A new contract every
Got
year.
a lot of people to pay.
You know who I'm inviting?
Who?
Not just because I enjoy seeing Cowboys fans sad, but the way he makes them sad. Dan Campbell. You're up by God knows how much, and you're throwing a hook and lateral.
Taking it to him.
Man, Campbell.
Man Campbell. I appreciate that. You're throwing a hook and lateral to your right tackle?
Why not?
Not even to your running back.
Why not?
You did the hook and lateral last week to skill players.
The week before, they threw a touchdown to Jared Goff.
Dude.
Why not? Have
what
fun.
What are you doing? That's the thing. It's like he's playing so fun and carefree. His team is all in. Dan Campbell, I give you the tailgate. I give you the keys to the tailgate, and I let you lead.
But here's the thing. This is the same thing with McDaniel. Oh, he's a player's coach. Everybody loves this guy. He's got great innovation.
Nah. I'll tell you why I don't believe you.
Okay.
Because McDaniel got brought in as the offensive genius, the guy to save Tua, and he did. He saved Tua. But he was never the I mean, his players liked him, but he was never that galvanizing force that we remember as our interim head coach when they fired Joe Philbin in Dan Campbell. My wife asks me every time we're watching the Lions, and it's a must-watch at my house. I've loved him since he was our tight ends coach, and I understood that we couldn't hire him because he just wasn't ready.
Right.
But my wife asks me every time, why didn't we hire him? Wasn't he our coach? Why didn't we hire him? I'm like, because he really wasn't
Just didn't
ready.
have the experience. That's
it.
it.
But you learn under Sean Payton. You learn what it's like, how he deals with his players. That's whether you like him or not. It's a Super Bowl winning, for sure, Hall of Fame head coach in Sean Payton. Like, You learn. You create the connections with people in the league to be able to form a staff. He couldn't do that down here when he was fresh out of the league as a tight ends coach. But I'm so jealous of the Lions to the point where it's like, why be jealous when I can just be a fan? And I am loving everything he's doing, man. I love it. Invited to the tailgate. You let me know. Dan, you let me know what you want me to bring to the tailgate. I'll bring whatever you want.
He's going to tell you.
I'll bring kombucha.
Lewis, you're bringing kombucha.
Listen, I've never drank tea a day in my life because I'm a proud American, and we throw tea into the harbor.
That's it.
But if you want me to bring tea, I bring tea for you.
Joe Flacco has a 1-year deal, $4.5 million guaranteed, up to $8.7 million. That's why they didn't pay him.
I think, but we have that in the cap.
Yeah.
I think we have $30 million in the cap.
Yeah, but they don't want to give that to the backup.
I do.
On the other side, we're going to hear from our fantasy guru, Brandon Kravitz. That's coming up next here on Football Fridays. We're back here on Football Fridays. Will Althoff, Luis Diaz, and as always, this time on Fridays, about 4:45, we are joined by our fantasy guru, Brandon Kravitz. He co-hosts the Fantasy Fix. You can hear it on the iHeartRadio app every Sunday, 10 a.m. You can also hear it locally here in Miami on Fox Sports 940. Brandon, what's happening this afternoon?
Just getting ready for another wild weekend. Taking the kid to Disney, so
Nice.
trying to figure out how to stay locked in on that while also not completely abandoning my football responsibilities.
Yeah, you
So
go on
I've
Saturday.
got a big weekend.
Don't go on Sunday.
No, well, that's definitely part of it. But, college football is part of the weekend, too. I just got to make sure that we're back to the hotel room by the time Texas and Georgia kick off.
All right, Brandon. So I was watching this game last night, and it turned out to be not a really good game. I mean, neither of these quarterbacks can throw touchdowns. What do you take from a game like that? Do you just abandon all hope if you've got fantasy players on either of these teams?
Well, definitely if you have anybody on the Saints, given everything that's gone down with them. Rashid Shaheed was announced out for last night's game, and then you find out that he's actually on season-ending IR, so that really puts a damper on what they want to do as a whole. I was admittedly on Alvin Kamara props last night because I thought, hey, he's the only guy they've got left.
Right.
Olave's out, Taysom Hill is out, and the Denver defense just said, we're just going to stop Alvin Kamara, and you figure out what to do from there. And there really wasn't a second option for them. So for New Orleans, I think they're sort of lost. But for Denver, you got to feel halfway decent. At least Bo Nix, if you're in a super flex league, you're starting 2 quarterbacks, you can feel decent about him just given his rushing upside. I know he didn't throw for any touchdowns last night. It was good to see Javonte Williams hit pay dirt a couple of times. But I would say the biggest takeaway for me is that you want to start any running back that's going up against the Saints. They have given up over 100 yards or multiple touchdowns to every running back they've faced for the last month. So that's definitely something you want to pay attention to moving forward. If you have a running back that's playing New Orleans, make sure he's in your lineup.
I was actually surprised by how many points that were on the board last night. I took the under at 37, and I thought this is a lock, but, man, I was surprised.
So I'm on Kamara props and the under. How do I end up taking a bath in this game that I didn't even want to watch anyway?
We all forget that this is a Sean Payton revenge game. Even though he left on his own
that's
terms,
true. Yeah.
and it was all nice, I think he put some bounties on the Saints just to – I think that's what he did. Brandon, Malik Neighbors coming back. What does that do for those of us that got Wan'Dale Robinson off the waivers? Should we keep him on our lineups? I've got one team where I've got both of them on. I just swapped one for the other. What does Malik Neighbors coming back from concussion protocol do for the Wan'Dale Robinson stock? Maybe even the Daniel Jones stock, if that means it put him in for once.
Yeah, I'm not trying to start Daniel Jones.
Me neither.
I guess if you're in a pinch, another guy with some rushing upside. And a number one wide receiver you feel pretty good about. The Eagles' defense has not been anything special. Don't let last week fool you. The Browns can't move the ball on anybody. But I don't think it does that much to Wan'Dale Robinson. I would look at this as more of – it definitely limits his volume, but he's still going to see one-on-one coverage more often than he would with Malik Neighbors off the field. We saw a very productive game. The last game that Wan'Dale Robinson played with Malik Neighbors, I think it was that Thursday night game against the Dallas Cowboys when Neighbors went down with the concussion, and he was still a highly productive wide receiver. So he's still somebody that's in flex consideration. Malik Neighbors is a must start, but Wan'Dale Robinson is definitely someone that you can put up against those other options that are in your lineup and see how he stacks up. It's really all dependent. He's definitely not an auto start, but definitely someone I would consider.
So some interesting moves in the AFC East.
Yes, dude.
Neither of them really pertaining to the Dolphins, but Davante Adams goes to the Jets. What does that do for the other receivers? I've been pounding Allen Lazard anytime touchdown this season because I know that Aaron loves to go to his guys. Now that he's got Davante back, I imagine I can stop looking at Allen Lazard, yes?
So Lazard might still get in the end zone. I could see a stat line for him that's like 2 catches, 12 yards, and a touchdown. And
right.
That's going to be the extent of Allen Lazard's involvement in this offense. You have 2 guys that are absolute target hogs. Aaron Rodgers was finally getting on the same page with Garrett Wilson, and then in comes the guy who's caught more passes from Aaron Rodgers than anybody else in Aaron Rodgers' career. So I don't think it takes very extensive logic to say that Davante Adams becomes the de facto number 1 in this offense. I think he's an auto start this week, less so just because it's his first appearance with the team, but he knows the offense and what Rodgers wants to do so well. They're basically like twins at this point. So moving forward, I think he is this week a little bit more of a consideration, and there's a tough matchup against Pittsburgh on top of it. But I think Garrett Wilson becomes the real question mark in all of this. What happens with his target share? He's such a young and talented wide receiver. They still want to get him involved. And the number 2 receiver in that Jets offense did have some value. You basically get a heightened version of what Allen Lazard was because Wilson's a much better player and can do more with the ball after the catch. But is he going to see enough targets where you say, no doubt he's a starter in my lineup and I'm never going to think about it? My instinct without seeing it would be no, that he's going to be a guy that you question every week. Should I or should I not start him? Until you see it, I would leave him in your lineup. But I think he kind of enters like a low-end T. Higgins sort of range rather than where he was as a wide receiver 1.
And Davante Adams, new to the AFC East, sure start. Does Amari Cooper get that same definitely start label? He's playing the Titans, but it doesn't have the same familiarity that Adams does. What do we do with Amari?
And that's my concern with Amari Cooper. With Davante, I feel more comfortable that I saw the head coach said, well, we got to get him up to speed with the offense. I think Davante Adams is plenty up to speed with the offense. He only played with Aaron Rodgers for 10 years, and it's Rodgers' offense. Let's not kid anybody. So I think Adams will be fine. For Amari Cooper, yeah, he doesn't have any familiarity with Josh Allen. They've never played together. He has no familiarity with this offense. And yeah, Josh Allen, they're not great options, but he's established a connection with Khalil Shakir and is working on gaining that with Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman. I don't want to start Amari Cooper unless I absolutely have to, but if you lack depth at wide receiver, it's not a bad idea. I'd rather see what it looks like first.
Brandon Kravitz from the Fantasy Fix, which you can hear on the iHeartRadio app Sundays, 10 a.m. He's joining us. And, Brandon, I got to ask you, if Russell Wilson starts this weekend for the Steelers, they are going to be taking on the Jets. They're hosting them. Is he worth a start, or is he just past his prime and nobody's really paying attention to him from a fantasy perspective?
No, do not. Start
George Pickens.
Oh God, I don't know that this helps George Pickens. I can't. I'm not sure that this is a positive for him. Justin Fields, for all of his faults, that man locks in on one wide receiver and looks nowhere else. And that's really good for fantasy when you only have one wide receiver that you really want to lock in on that offense. The drop-off from Pickens to the next best wide receiver on that team is so severe. Would anyone like to take a guess as to who the number 2 wide receiver is on the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Jerome Bettis?
Anyone? You're not far off.
Hines Ward?
Najee Harris.
Najee Harris? Man,
Najee
get
Harris.
out of here.
Not even
Is
Fryermuth?
the number 2. Yeah, so Russell Wilson's probably going to spread the ball around a little bit more. Now, I don't think he's going to do it effectively, so I'm not saying go start Alvin Austin or anything, but I just don't think it's going to help George Pickens. I think overall the offense will be slightly less predictable, but I'm not sure that actually means the offense is going to be more productive. So take that for what it's worth.
All right, so I see New York Jets defense or special teams touchdown plus 650 on Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm hammering that right now. Let's go for the pick 6
I
on
love
Russ.
Yeah,
That's
a great bet.
You bring up defense. That was kind of my next question. I know the Dolphins are on this list, but please don't say them. But I'm doing the whole getting a new defense every other week. What are the teams that we should be looking out for that are the opponents? You know what I'm asking? Like, if I see a defense is playing the Dolphins and they're available, I might just pick them up. What are the other teams that we should be looking for on that opponent list when we're looking at a defense to pick up?
Oh, man, you just watched them play football last night.
Yep.
I think it's the New Orleans Saints.
Yep. Is that until Derek Carr comes back, or is that always?
I think it's it's a 100% with Spencer Rattler starting at quarterback. He looks a little lost back there. But their offensive line is banged up too. So I would pay attention to that. I would feel less confident with Derek Carr as a starting quarterback, but it's not like he was lighting it up the last couple of games before he got hurt. So a team that I would look at that should be readily available on waiver wires out there is the LA Chargers. They play the Saints next week. You do have to deal with the Cardinals on Monday Night Football, but we know that these primetime games can get pretty ugly at times. So that is one that I would look at. I would say the Rams also, they play against the Raiders. The Raiders have not been able to move the ball, and they just moved off of Devontae Adams, so it's not like they're going to get better on offense. And, I mean, the Panthers, the Browns, those are sort of teams that I would look at as you're at least living in a world where you have a nice, safe floor with the defense that you're starting there.
Brandon Kravitz, co-host of the Fantasy Fix. You can hear it on the iHeartRadio app Sundays beginning at 10 a.m. here locally in South Florida. You can hear it on Fox Sports 940. Brandon, really appreciate the time as always, and we'll talk to you again next week, man.
Gentlemen, wish me luck at the Mouse's house.
Good luck at Disney, Brandon.
Try and save some money.
I'm Will Althoff. That's Luis Diaz. The final hour coming up here on the other side. Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun Sentinel going to join us around 5:15 to talk about this weekend's game, Sunday's game between the Dolphins and the Colts. This is Football Fridays. I like the crunchy music, too. The crunchy music, the robot music. It's got some pep.
I like the way you describe different genres. I'd love to imagine you at the Grammys handing out awards, and this year's best album in the crunchy music genre goes to Metallica.
There you go. I like it. I'm Will Althoff. That's Luis Diaz. Thank you for joining us for Football Fridays. This is the final hour here of the program. Taylor Swift going to be in town this week.
Who cares?
Hard Rock Stadium. We were just watching, they're previewing the Chiefs 49ers rematch coming up this weekend. Now, here's the question.
Is Travis going
to be here
No.
and then there?
No.
He's probably got an off day tomorrow.
Isn't the concert tonight?
Yeah. So why isn't he flying tonight?
He's got practice.
Practice is long over.
No.
Come on. They practice during the day.
And we know Taylor Swift loves racking up the miles on that private jet of hers.
I was going to say, listen, if she wants to bring her boyfriend to the show, he's going to get there. There's no problem.
They're going to land.
They're
going to land on Dan Marino Boulevard.
Yes, please.
Yeah, no way.
She's going to fly him into North Perry, and then he's going to take the chopper from there over to Hard Rock.
You think he borrows Stephen Ross's chopper?
Yeah.
Or we're going to let him borrow the traffic one?
Or she'll just rent one.
She'll just buy one.
It doesn't matter to her.
She'll buy one and then leave it unattended, unused.
So if we see on the old social media tonight,
there's no chance
that Trav showed up to the concert, I called it.
There's no way.
Why not?
Because he's got a game. The hardest,
2 days.
The biggest game of the year so far for them.
Tomorrow's an off day. Come on. They are playing in San Francisco though, so it means he would have to leave his team.
Leave Kansas City.
They probably haven't left right for San Francisco yet. So he would have to
leave Kansas City to Miami,
Yes.
Get there. I mean, granted, it's a
Correct.
private jet. I don't know the hours of the private jet.
And come
But
on,
get
day
back.
practice, they were probably done at like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. So he flies here.
Flies here. He'd have to fly back to Kansas City to then in the morning catch the team plane to San Francisco. No.
Unless he's made some special arrangements. He's just going to meet them out there tomorrow
Look.
in San Francisco.
I've currently got him starting on my team. If I see a man that looks like him down here, I'm benching him.
Nah, he's going for 2 touchdowns if that happens. If you see him on social media at the Tay-Tay concert tonight,
They got
2 touchdowns.
They got that special baby powder in the stadium that gives you energy, right? That's what they have in Miami.
I think that he's feeling the aura of his girlfriend.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That gives him the energy. Yeah, that's what it was. No, I hope not. I
Pretty
don't know.
amazing, though. Why not?
It would be cool. It would be. But
Listen,
not
he's
for me.
not a young player in the sense that, like, he's a veteran.
Yeah,
He's made his money.
sure.
He has his status as one of the best tight ends of all time. I think that he's one of these guys who says, you know what? I'm going to be ready, coach. I got a family obligation I got to go to this weekend, though.
I got something I got to do. If I'm not here Saturday, out of my own money, I'll fly to San Francisco. I'll meet y'all there. Don't worry about it, coach. But
Don't look on social media.
yeah, please.
Just trust me. I'll be there.
Actually, let me see your phone. I put it in the cup of water. Just don't
He's got a bag of rice waiting.
don't get that fixed yet.
No, I
It's
think
like
he can-
Malik Neighbors going to the concert in the middle of concussion protocol. I love that he gets hate for that,
Oh, man.
but Tua doesn't get any hate for the Disney on Ice thing. Like, we're all just here like, I told you it was nothing.
Yeah,
But
right?
Malik Neighbors is like, I hate him. Did you see speaking of concussions, see the injury report?
I saw Devon.
Back on.
He says he is ready to go. He is cleared protocol.
So OBJ took a personal day yesterday, but was or no, because it says hamstring and then personal. So it says he didn't. Sorry, today. I was looking at the game status and today. So he did not participate today in practice. Maybe it was the personal thing. He should be good to, but he's questionable. The only person that's less than questionable is Javon Holland. He's doubtful with the hand, but they haven't ruled him out yet. He's refusing to rule himself out. The one that's new, the 2 that are new, are Blake Ferguson, personal day, personal reasons he was limited in practice. Just don't roll the ball back like you did in New England,
Ugh.
and take all the days you
Snap
want.
it up.
Just off the ground. Austin Jackson with his yearly injury. This time it's his back.
Yes, he is questionable for the game on Sunday. I like the rest of this, though. You see Cam Smith, full participant.
That would be nice.
Achane, full participant. Jordan Poyer, full participant.
Can I tell you something?
You're over it with Jordan Poyer?
I'm ready for him to be the third. I'm ready for Marcus May to come in and be the second safety. I really like what Marcus May is doing. Not a huge fan of the Poyer. I mean, look, he's better than Elijah Campbell, who's our 4th safety. But no, I like it. Maybe it's not a thing of what Jordan Poyer's not doing. I really like what Marcus May is doing. I would like May to get more snaps, and I don't want them to eat at Javon's share. I want them to eat at Poyer's share.
Yeah. I see on the other side that Jonathan Taylor is going to be out for the
Thank
game.
God is good.
That's
man.
good news because there was talk about he might be ready to go back this week. So
Look, I'm not scared of Anthony Richardson. I'm really not. It's something I've been saying since before it was Colts week. I've never understood why he went in the first round. He was not good at UF. He just wasn't good, but he is a creative player on Madden with 0 abilities. I get that. He's got all the ability, just he hasn't put it together yet. But him and Jonathan Taylor in the backfield would have kept me up.
yes.
Would have kept me awake. Now that I know the only threat to run the ball is the quarterback, I'm good again. Good again.
And they've got Michael Pittman. He did not practice Wednesday. He was a full participant yesterday. Did not practice again today, and he's questionable for Sunday.
I wouldn't mind if he took a day. I wouldn't. Hey,
Yeah, I wonder
take
if
a week
that's like
off.
a rest thing that they put him out there yesterday, and they were like, "All right, you look good to go, so you can sit tomorrow. We'll bring you back on Sunday for the game."
No,
But,
I'm hoping they just keep him out.
yeah, sit out if possible.
Their safety's going to play. Their center's going to play. Ryan Kelly, he's been battling an injury for a while, and they had a rookie center in. Now that Ryan Kelly looks like he's healthy, I mean, he doesn't even have a game status, so he's gonna play. Not looking forward to that.
Yeah, so
DeForest Buckner? Is he on the IR? Because I don't see him on the
I
list.
don't see him on there, no. So there you go. That's the most recent injury report released today.
What is an oblique?
It's like in your core somewhere, I think.
That's what Anthony Richardson's dealing with.
Yeah.
And I don't know what an oblique is.
Yeah, I think it has to do something with, like, your turning. So, like, I imagine as a guy who's trying to escape people trying to tackle you or running, like being able to twist. If you've got some sort of injury, it can't really feel good.
Speaking of injury reports, I'm trying to see, because remember how much pain Devontae Adams was in Oakland. His poor hamstring.
His hamstrings were killing him.
Little guy couldn't practice or play.
Well, it was on the front page of ESPN.com today.
Would you look at that? Full participant yesterday in practice.
Feeling fantastic.
And
so
today
healed up real good.
Today he was a full participant as well. Huh.
Yeah. Funny how that happens, huh?
Man, must have been something in that plane.
It's got to be the water in New York, right?
Yeah,
maybe you got a good bagel.
The same thing of the bagel and the pizzas. Oh, it's in the water.
That's it.
Yeah. Good.
Same thing. That healed up his hamstrings.
Heals up hammies. Good job, man. I'm so happy. I was so worried. Man, his poor hamstring.
This is literally the headline. Wide receiver Adams looks, quote, fantastic. Full go for Jets debut.
I was so worried that he was going to fail his physical because of that very real hamstring injury that was keeping him out of Oakland or Las Vegas.
Yeah, kept him from walking into the facility ready to play.
That's so good.
He's ready to go now.
Look, he's missed the last 3 weeks with a hamstring injury.
Full go.
What a lucky break these Jets got.
It's funny how that works out sometimes.
Huh.
But we'll see. They got their hands full on Sunday, so we'll see. In Pittsburgh Sunday night. I hope they lose.
They're gonna. No, they're
right?
gonna.
They're gonna?
I don't care how bad Russell Wilson plays. They're gonna lose.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's Luis Diaz. I'm Will Althoff. Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. He's going to join us next to talk a little bit about the Dolphins game coming up Sunday against the Colts. This is Football Fridays. We are back on Football Fridays. I'm Will Althoff. Luis Diaz on the other side. As always, we are taking you up until 6 o'clock tonight. And we got a game Sunday. Dolphins in Indianapolis.
I thought you were talking about the 9:30 Wembley Stadium game. My bad. Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
That's another game happening that nobody's going to be paying attention to. The Patriots taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars in London.
Yeah, I'll sleep in.
So, like, when do they just take on the London moniker? The Jex London, the Jaguars.
The London Jaguars?
Maybe at some point.
It'll be soon.
I think so. Joining us now from the South Florida Sun Sentinel, he covers the Dolphins. His name is Chris Perkins. Perk, what's happening this Friday? How are you, man?
I'm good, man. Look, we were at practice earlier today, and you know Taylor Swift is in town Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Man, the Swifties were out. Look, the 199th Street was shut down. Parking patterns were altered. It was starting to stack up. I left at like 2:20, and it was starting to stack up. So I would imagine right now Hard Rock Stadium has been taken over by the Swifties, man. They were out.
I would never have thought Swifties as the tailgating type.
Yes.
But I love to
Me
see
neither.
it. You know what it is?
Yeah.
They've been influenced by Travis Kelce too much.
There it is.
That now they're tailgating for concerts. I love this.
This is the thing. I found out the lots opened at like 3:30 or whatever it was. And I was
Correct.
like, oh, there are definitely people going out there all day getting ready to get in there. And they're like, seriously? You really think so? And I was like, listen, when I go to Dolphins games at Hard Rock Stadium, when I show up at 9:15, there are people who already have meat grilling in 15 minutes. Like, they are out there.
So
There are definitely people who are going to be out there when those gates open, ready to hang out for Taylor Swift. And there we go. Perk solidified it. Yes, it's happening.
It is. It's going down, baby.
Confirmed.
The next 3 nights. Yeah, UM is out of town. Dolphins are out of town. Taylor Swift owns Hard Rock.
I mentioned last segment, Perk. I said I wouldn't be surprised if Travis Kelce flew in for tonight's concert. Do you think that's even a possibility?
No.
That would be huge. Huge.
Yes.
Now, Chiefs fans would be pissed off, but I would love it just for the sideshow.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Listen.
you know what?
Go ahead.
it's not like Patrick Mahomes needs more stress in his life, right? I mean, he's got Kelsey, he's got the dad, he's got his brother, he's got wifey.
Yeah, that's it.
But this would come back on Mahomes. Patrick, well, what about your tight end leaving town? And it would be beautiful. They need something else. Come on, they got back-to-back Super Bowls. They need more controversy.
Yes.
With that dad audio coming out now and that dad he's probably begging Travis to go to Miami. He's like, brother,
right.
Your girlfriend loves the
Steve
planes.
Rice is nothing. Right, exactly.
Listen, if she wants Travis to be at the concert, she can get him a plane. She can fly him here and back. Like, it's no problem. So, I mean, I imagine practice ended a short time ago. He's got time to get here for the concert tonight.
Stop,
I am dying to see it all over social media tonight.
I would love it.
That would be amazing.
I would love it.
So, all right, let's get back to it. The Dolphins are going to be in Indy to take on the Colts Sunday. I am convinced that every game from here on out is a must-win game. What do you say, Perk?
You know what? I always say this, that must-win is when you're facing elimination. I say need to win. Yeah, they do need to win, because if you go down to 2-4, life gets really, really ugly. You know, it was good that they prevented them. They won last game and you know, didn't drop that one up there. They get the 41 carries for 193 yards. That was a need-to-win game. This is another need-to-win game because, look, we know that Tua, the first day that he can practice is Wednesday. We think he's going to do that. First game that he can play is 4 days after that, October 27th against Arizona. It would be nice to have that back-to-back win runway so that when Tua gets back, you just pick up on that and 3-game winning streak, and now you've got something going. You lose this one, and it almost negates the accomplishment of winning before the bye. So, yeah, this is a need-to-win game. Keep that momentum going. Get to 500.
Perk, do they let you in the locker room, or are they still on COVID protocols?
No.
All right,
we're all up in there.
So I want to know, man. Because all offseason, and I promise, it's a Tua question, but I've heard everyone ask McDaniel 18 different ways. He's not saying nothing. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask, is he coming back? I want to ask about this talkative, outspoken Tua that we were getting during training camp. Is that guy still there? I understand with being on the IR, you're not allowed to be – I don't think you're allowed to be in practice. But in the locker room, I've heard he's always in the building. I've heard he's still himself. Is he still the leader of the team? Vocally, I understand you can't do much by example, but at least vocally, is he still that leader we were very excited for before the season started, or has this concussion kind of pulled him away from that?
No. He's the same Tua. Look, I just wrote a column about here's hoping Tua comes back soon.
I saw that. I was
him.
very surprised. I thought it was a typo.
What the column was, which I probably should have done better on the headline, I should have said I miss him in the locker room, because that's what the column was about. It was about how since late last season, Tua has become really talkative with the media. He was very standoffish with us. But really, since late last season and into this season, we sat and chatted with him, just BS with him off the record. He's been great. We laughed with him. So now I feel like I kind of know Tua, and I miss seeing that version of Tua in the locker room. I always walk by and dap him up. What's up, Tua? What's up, brother? That's what he would always say. And so I kind of miss that. But the times that we've seen him, we saw him like maybe a week and a half ago in the locker room. He was talking to Snoop Huntley. He was laughing. He was smiling. He seemed like the same old Tua. I think I've seen him twice in the locker room since the concussion, and both times he's been the normal Tua. He's been, smiling. His eyes are clear. He's not, stumbling around. So, yeah, and they've said that he's been helping Snoop Huntley. He's been in team meetings. He's been a presence around the building. So, yeah, I fully expect that Tua is going to practice Wednesday and he's going to play next Sunday against Arizona. He looks like the same Tua outwardly. And look, from what Mike McDaniel says, the reviews from the neurologists have been favorable. So, for Mike McDaniel to say we expect Tua to play again this season, and when you decipher the Mike McDaniel language, which is about injuries, it's always, I'm not going to set a timetable. I don't have a crystal ball. For Mike McDaniel to say that,
that means Tua is going to come back very soon.
Nice.
So, yeah, Tua to me is fine. He's back to being the same Tua that he was before the concussion.
Perk did the Rosetta Stone on how to understand McDaniel, because I can't take a single point of what he said, but you've done the Rosetta Stone. You've done the Duolingo. I'm glad you understand him.
Oh, yeah. Look, it's one of those things where Mike McDaniel is going to talk for like 90 seconds when you ask him a simple question. You know, Mike, how are the tight ends doing? Blah, 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 blah. And the answer, the good nugget, that one little sound bite that you need, that one sentence quote is going to be buried in the middle of it. And you have to hunt it out. You have to really listen for it. And then you tune them out for like the first 20 seconds. You pay attention for 15, and then you tune them out for the next 30 seconds. And that's how you deal with Mike McDaniel right there.
Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun Sentinel joining us to talk a bit about the matchup happening Sunday in Indianapolis between the Dolphins and the Colts. Talking about Tua, you mentioned, he's been meeting with neurologists and all of this. I feel like if he wasn't going to come back, if there was something negative, that we would have heard. I feel like that sort of information would have gotten out somehow. So because we haven't heard anything in that sense, that there's no reason to believe that he's not coming back next weekend.
You're correct. And look, you guys know, sign of the times now, how the media works. We were talking about it in the media room today that, all of the stories about, the big national stories, the teams worked with Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport, Schefter of ESPN, Rappaport of NFL Network. And we were saying, Mike McDaniel has told us what he's going to tell us, but I guarantee you at some point between Saturday night and kickoff on Sunday, one of them will have a story saying Tua will practice on Wednesdays. We have learned. Sources have told us. And it'll be somebody from the Dolphins who leaked it to them. But that's kind of how it works, that those guys are the ones who break those big national stories. But I do expect between Saturday night and before kickoff on Sunday that the story will break. Things are positive. Tua expected to practice on Wednesday, play next Sunday. That's what I'm expecting.
We heard McDaniel this morning talk about a conversation with Teron Armstead about how to get to those big goals that we all kind of put on this team before the season, you've got to really run the ball. I've seen a lot more success from this team when they run on the inside as opposed to the outside zone. That's the staple of this Shanahan offense. Devon Achane getting out of the game gave Jalen Wright a lot of carries. He's a strong back. He looks great running up the middle. So does Raheem Mostert. And I know Devon Achane is back, but should we expect more of the same from Jalen Wright, Raheem Mostert, that power inside zone, gap scheme, power running offense? Just listening to Mike McDaniel today, I think I heard that 15 seconds. I must have been listening for that 15 seconds because to me, all I could hear was like, man, we're going to run the ball. We might have a three-headed monster. We might not even throw the ball with Snoop Huntley. We might be running the ball. What did you get from that answer? What did you get from like watching the running game? Because I feel like we're going backwards in time, but I'm not opposed to it with that run-first mentality.
It's going to be whatever works for this team. And so the 41 carries for 193 yards against New England. And by the way, they only win that game by half a foot, literally, right? If Jalen Polk's back half of his foot comes in the end zone, the Dolphins lose. Right. Yeah, that's a bizarre. I didn't even know that was a rule until that game. I hate to say that. It's 16 years covering the league. But anyway, you rush for 193 and you still barely win. It's a weird season. It's a weird season for the Dolphins offense, but having said that, I think they're at the point where they have to do whatever works for that particular game. I don't think they've really found their offensive identity yet. Even when Tua returns, you remember when he was playing early in the season, they still had problems getting the ball to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle because everybody sits back in that two deep safety shell and they double cover Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and they make it difficult to throw that deep ball. So I think the run is going to have to be a bigger part of the offense and a more significant part of the offense. But here's the catch. These running backs are built for speed, not durability. And we've already seen Raheem Mostert miss 3 games with a chest injury. We've seen Devon Achane in concussion protocol. Jeff Wilson has battled a right knee injury. So, there's a point of diminishing returns with these guys. And I know you have numbers. You have 4 of them if you include the rookie Jalen Wright, who I agree with you. That dude looked really good, really strong running between the tackles. I would like to see more of that.
Yeah.
But I just wonder how much banging can Devon Achane and Raheem Mostert take before they get injured. And if one of them gets injured, what does that do to the running game and et cetera, et cetera. But having said all that, yeah, I'm running the ball until it doesn't work because I can't pass right now, and I need to get them to drop that safety into the box, play the 8-man front. Now I can go over the top. So that's kind of the chess game that you have to play. Since late last season, every team pretty much has said, no, I'm playing the 2 deep safeties. You can run on me as much as you want. They ran in that Baltimore game where they get blown out 56-19. I think the Dolphins ran for like 158 yards in that game, but it didn't matter. The Dolphins don't have a run game that can really damage you. You guys know the stat that I cite all the time. Last year, the Dolphins were 1-6 against playoff teams. In 4 of those games, they rushed for over 100 yards. They lost all 4 of them. So and again, they barely beat New England, even rushing for 193. So it's kind of one of those things where you have to really be careful what you do with that run game. Make sure it's effective, because at a certain point, I know that Mike McDaniel looks at the run and he thinks, yeah, that's a missed opportunity of going to Tyreek or Jalen Waddle. And the run is not doing them much good in the red zone. It's not scoring them a lot of touchdowns. It's just kind of chewing clock, which is good if you're in the lead. But we'll see with the run game, basically, is what I'm saying. I hope it works out. You need the balance. I'm still kind of at the wait-and-see game stage if it can win you a game.
Perk, what about the changes in the AFC East? Are any of the players talking about how the upgrades were made to the Jets and the Bills?
Not really, but we did ask Mike McDaniel about it. And look, the way that I look at it is, you've got Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper, Jalen Ramsey, sick them. That's it. That's the end of it. If I'm the Dolphins,
exactly.
Get on them, Jalen. Problem erased. Now, of course, with the Jets, you do still have Garrett Wilson. And then with the Bills, you do still have the tight ends, Knox and Kincaid. But, Jalen Ramsey is good enough to eliminate threat number 1 in the passing game. So those additions, while they are significant, if you have a Jalen Ramsey, you just kind of laugh and go, all right, that's cute. Stick him, Jalen, and problem solved. So that's kind of how I'm looking at those acquisitions at this point.
I guess finally I'll ask you, we heard somebody asked about Bradley Chubb this week to Coach Mike McDaniel, and he says that he's getting there, but he's not there this week. How long do you think until we see Bradley Chubb back on the field, Perk?
Man, no telling. Normal ACL is like 9 to 12 months. He was injured on New Year's Eve. So, you start doing the math, and this is about the time that he ought to return. So, obviously he's not going to be back early. If he comes back in the next month, he's right on time. Next month and a half, really, I guess. And then, it's not going to be a year till New Year's Eve. So he's kind of right in the range of normal progression. I don't expect we're going to see – well, I'll put it to you like this. You could have started the clock, the 21-day window on a lot of players last week. They started it on Cam Smith 2 weeks ago, the second-round pick, the cornerback. He's coming up. He's still on IR. But, guys, River Craycraft, Bradley Chubb, Cam Good, Isaiah Wynn, none of them started practicing this week. So that tells me none of them are probably going to be coming back in the next couple of weeks. I think once you start that 21-day clock, by the way, once that clock starts, you either have to put that player on IR, on the 53-man roster, or he stays on IR for the rest of the year. So that's the decision they're facing with Cam Smith next Wednesday. But, yeah, I think once you start that window and they start practicing, you think they could play in maybe 2 weeks, definitely in 3. They haven't started it on Chubb, so I would say he's at least 2 more weeks off.
Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. What's the catering like at Lucas Oil Stadium?
Good question.
Well, you know what? It's not bad. I'm not going. This is one of the 2 road games that I'm not doing. I didn't do New England, and I'm not doing Indy, which is fine. I've been to Indy literally like 50 times just between covering, Pete Pacers playoff games, the combine. When I first started covering the Dolphins in 2000, remember the Colts were in their division. And so there was a trip to Indy every year with that. And so, not going to Indy is not going to break my heart. I've been there enough times. I St. Elmo Steakhouse and the whole thing. I've done it all. I'll be fine sitting here covering the game.
Enjoy your couch on Sunday, Perk.
That's it. I'll still be working, but I'll be here. All right, guys.
The satellite office. Yep. Thanks, Perk. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, see you guys.
That's Chris Perkins from the South Florida Sun Sentinel joining us here. On the other side, we're going to bring out the octopi.
Let's go, baby.
It's octopus time coming up next on Football Fridays. We are back here on Football Fridays. Will Althoff and Luis Diaz. And smartly this week, I did not use any Thursday selections in my octopus.
Did it hurt you to not do that? I feel like
it did a little bit. I do love it. I do love getting a couple of legs out of the way early if possible on a Thursday night, and then you go into Sunday like, oh man, now I need like 6. Oh, I got this.
Yeah, because it's easier if the Thursday night legs hit.
And listen, if they both hit, if I do 2 legs on a Thursday night, they give me a cash out option. I'm taking it.
Oh. 100%.
And then I'll do another octopus on Sunday.
But you're not losing money anymore.
No, that's it, man. All right, so 8-leggers. That's how we roll here with the octopi on the Hard Rock Bet app. This is a $1 wager to win $1,000.
Okay, this is not going to happen.
I've got the Bills at home.
Okay.
Beating the Titans.
Is this just the money line? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Money line. Win. James Cook, anytime touchdown.
Sure.
Josh Allen, anytime touchdown.
That's where it gets risky because he's been kind of quiet this year.
Yes. But he's always there. You never know when he's going to run one in.
And I do know when. You know when? This weekend.
I love it. The other legs, here we go. We've got the Commanders with a win over the Carolina Panthers, which seems likely.
Seems impossible to not happen.
I think it's at home, too, for the Commanders.
Yes, it is.
Terry McLaurin, anytime touchdown. He's been on fire this year.
Yeah.
I have got Brian Thomas Jr., anytime touchdown, the London game.
That's a good game to bet on a Jacksonville player.
Yeah, because the Patriots stink.
The Patriots stink, and they've been you're acclimated.
They've been there for 2 weeks.
However acclimated the Patriots feel, you are more.
Yes, agreed. I've got the Jets defense or special teams TD over the Steelers because I'm hoping a Russell Wilson pick 6.
Okay.
Potential.
Let's see if Sauce can do it.
Let's hope. And then my final leg, Sunday, Raheem, anytime touchdown.
I love you.
That is plus 76,935 with the 30% boost. So $1 to win 1,000.
All right, so I wagered $3 to win 1,000.
Nice.
I got in the Dolphins Colts game. I got 3 Dolphins legs.
Okay.
This is where I feel nervous because I'm putting a lot on the Dolphins here. I've got Jason Sanders over 1.5 field goals.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I feel like that. Knocking on wood.
Yeah.
Devon Achane over 46.5 yards. I feel like with the way that McDaniel spoke this morning, with what we saw last week in New England,
they got to start running the ball.
They're going to run the ball. And he was literally the only option on the Hard Rock Bet app. Hard Rock Bet app, I love you. You had no Raheem, no Jalen Wright on the rushing over-unders. Let's fix that. And then Tyreek Hill, anytime touchdown.
He's got to get a touchdown.
He's just so due.
I was saying it last game. It didn't happen. He's got to get a touchdown.
I want you to know this is the bet, the octopus I did research for it first. And so when I lose, it's going to hurt more. As in this one right here, Jamar Chase anytime touchdown. He has alternated games. Yes, no, yes, no. He had 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago, none last week.
Yeah.
Come on, brother. Math is math.
I had him last week. Anytime touchdown over 100 yards, he hit neither.
Yeah.
So he's due this week
He's
for
due.
sure.
And he's playing the Browns.
Yeah,
It's
rivalry
in Cleveland.
game.
Come on. I've got Stephon Diggs over 67.5 yards.
I like
rushing
that.
receiving yards.
Is Tank Dell out or Nico Collins
Nico's
is
out.
right?
Nico's out.
Yeah, so there you go.
I've got Jamar. This is the one I'm the most nervous about. Jamar, even more than Tyreek. Jamar Gibbs anytime touchdown. I feel like David Montgomery's been eating all those goal line carries.
Yeah.
But it was it was a plus, so I was like, you know what? Okay, let's do it. So I got Jamar Gibbs in Minnesota against Brian Flores and his defense in the Vikings. I've got him anytime touchdown. A.J. Brown anytime touchdown against the Giants. I just did it. And then
he had a touchdown last week. I had him over 100 in a touchdown. He hit.
oh well, and then this is the Giants. Come on, guys.
Exactly.
And then here I've got Terry McLaurin getting over 4.5 receptions. He's had 6 every game, minimum.
He's been Jaden Daniels' favorite target this season.
I'm looking for wood to knock on this.
Terry
studio.
McLaurin has played very well this year, and they've talked about how he's played with like 10 different quarterbacks in his career.
Yeah.
And he catches touchdowns for every single one of them. It doesn't matter who's throwing him passes, but Jaden Daniels has just been phenomenal this year.
Meanwhile, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle look super pedestrian with Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley, that's right.
But hey, man, Snoop's got it this year. Snoop's got it.
This weekend, I think they got it.
I said this year. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
In
this
Indy,
week.
yeah, they got it. The Colts stink.
Come on, pretend it's your combine and everyone's watching.
I think that Tyreek is definitely due for a touchdown this weekend. He's been weeks without a score, and they got to do something. And I think if they can get the running game going, like you were mentioning, if they can get Achane going, then they run that play action, nice deep ball to Tyreek, or at least a mid-range ball that he can run the rest of the way.
Well, what do we remember from last year? We remember the big plays. We remember the big plays. What we don't remember is we had one of the best running offenses in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think we averaged about 5 yards per carry last year as a team.
That's amazing. If you do that, you're getting a first down every two
plays. So when you think about a defense that has to prepare for that kind of rushing attack, yeah, the big plays are going to open up downfield. We haven't had that big that effective of a rushing attack this year.
It's been a huge part of it. Raheem's obviously missed games with injury. And Achane, when he's played, he's been everything for this team. He's been the one guy that's been able to create separation and get some yards on the ground as a result of them just taking away Tyreek and Jalen.
I'm going to tell you, Jalen Wright having those dreads coming out of the back and running with the power he does. Is he not the next Ricky Williams?
Oh,
is he
say
not?
That.
I'm not allowed to say that, but he's forcing my hand. I don't want to say it, but Jalen Wright is forcing my hand here.
Man, if he's half as good as Ricky, you got something.
Brother, we saw it.
Yeah. He's
One
just
game,
get more touches.
But this is around the time last year that this rookie running back from Miami started really getting the ball.
Yes.
Devon Achane had his time last year. Jalen Wright, look, I love Raheem. So I'm hoping we have a 3-headed monster that we take for the next couple of years. But if he feels like hanging it up, we're still set, brother.
They got a couple of good backs for sure.
We've got 2
first
back. We've got 2 starting running backs. 3 with Raheem.
We'll see what happens on Sunday.
That's it. We're going to lose, but it's fine.
The good stuff is the Colts running back. He's out this weekend. Jonathan Taylor officially. Game status, out.
So good. That's so good to see.
That's their best player, out.
I hope
God.
I hope he's resting. I don't care. I don't care. I'm happy that
I hope he
out.
feels better.
I do hope he feels better, for
Come
sure.
back next week.
I'm so glad that he's not feeling better this week, and I hope he does feel better eventually.
Yeah, next week. Have a
Next
great game next week.
Brother, run for 200 next week. Make
you know
up
what?
for last week and this week.
I'm going to pick him anytime touchdown next week or whenever he comes back.
I'm putting first and last touchdown for him next week. Just because I support him.
That's Luis Diaz. I'm Will Althoff on the other side. Our final segment. Is he going to make an appearance today?
I think he is.
Oh, Walter Mercadolfin's coming up on the other side. Football Fridays. We are back on Football Fridays. Will Althoff, Luis Diaz. We are taking you a few more minutes up till 6 o'clock tonight. Getting you ready for the Dolphins game Sunday in Indianapolis against the Horses. No, it's a Colt? Yeah, a horse, right?
Yeah, for the
horse.
shoe.
Yeah. Ugh. Lucas Oil Stadium.
Yeah, gross.
What happens there?
The combine?
Oh, yeah, that's true. And it's such a huge place. I love when they do the the NCAA tournament inside those gigantic buildings like they used to do it at the Hoosier Dome or whatever it was. It's like this little court in this gigantic building.
So many seats.
And if you're at the top, like watching, what do you see?
That's
Ants?
That's a bad seat.
You see nothing.
That's not good. That's not good. I feel bad for those. But yeah, no, Indianapolis is a convention city. That's what it is.
That's all
it is. It's a convention city.
Yeah. Like, what are the big industries in Indianapolis? You go for the Indianapolis 500.
Lucas Oil.
You go for Lucas Oil, I imagine, right?
I'd hope they're
probably not even there.
They're not even in Indianapolis.
It's a good question. What happens there?
They filmed some episodes of Parks and Rec.
U.S. Nationals.
Yeah, there you go.
The U.S. Nationals of I don't know what, but
NHRA.
NHRA, there you go.
Carlos whispered it in our
Carlos
ear.
is telling you.
Carlos whispers in our ear, just repeat it.
There it is.
And I don't know what I'm
You
saying.
don't even know what it is. So as we get ready to wait, do you feel it?
Oh no.
What do you?
It's happened.
Oh, once again,
It's happening now.
we are joined by the spirits. Eli Lilly, the largest private employer in Indianapolis.
Who cares? No, that sounds cool. What is Eli Lilly? I've never heard of that.
I think it's like pharmaceuticals. Yeah, pharmaceuticals.
Get drunk.
I feel.
What
Do
did you
feel?
feeling?
I feel.
William,
I
how'd you
feel. I feel.
Oh shit. William Mercadolphins.
Yeah, we American Dolphins. On Sunday, you know what I feel?
Tell me.
2 picks, Russell Wilson.
No.
He's gonna get yanked.
You are so adamant about him not being the quarterback.
He stinks, man.
Yes, I know you
know,
think that.
But here's at the same time, like, I feel bad for a guy like that because he was floating. He won that Super Bowl. Everybody loved Russell Wilson. And then now everybody's like, this guy stinks.
Washed.
Totally washed.
He threw a Hall of Fame enshrinement into the toilet when he went to Denver.
It all went downhill.
He was a Hall of Famer.
He could have retired at the end of the Seattle run.
And he's a Hall of Famer.
For sure.
But all of a sudden, he's washed. Denver Broncos country does not ride.
No, they don't.
They don't. They ride nowhere.
They're riding the bow train to Nixville.
The ride's broken. The ride says it's down for maintenance.
Yeah.
Now he goes to Pittsburgh. You are so adamant
He couldn't even start over Justin Fields.
He could. He was injured.
Nah. I think they were giving
2
Justin
picks?
a shot. But, yeah, I think he's going to throw 2 picks this weekend.
I wouldn't like that because then that means the Jets are doing good things.
The Jets are going to be charged up. I think they're fired up this week.
All right. Because if they're not fired up, someone else is getting fired out. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So,
It ain't going to be Aaron.
okay. ¿Qué es
Oh.
esto?
Oh, you feel?
Walter Mercadolphins, I feel something. I feel something in the air. It's about Los Dolphins, like my last name says.
Yes.
Mercadolphins.
What do you feel about Miami?
I feel like going really fast with my legs. What's that called?
Running.
Running. I feel like
Running.
running. I feel like the dog from Harry Potter. How many heads does he have? 3 heads.
3 heads.
I feel like a 3-headed monster of running is going to come down up to Indianapolis. I feel like Jalen Wright,
Yes.
Raheem Mostert,
Mm-hmm.
y Devon Achane, each 50 yards.
I can see that.
Running.
Yes.
That's
totally.
150,
Yeah.
but a very evenly distributed. It's not that kind of takes away someone having a hot hand. I get that. Pero I see an evenly distributed 50. Maybe someone with 70, maybe someone with 50, someone with 49, but it grounds to 50, so I take it.
Listen, 193 yards rushing last game.
Mira. I think 50. 3 running backs with 50 yards in the same game. It's never happened before, but don't verify. It's probably happened 2 times.
I think that if they can't do that, they easily win this game because that means they're going to get passes downfield to Tyreek and Jalen as a result.
God willing, brother.
Let's hope.
I get the ball fast, brother.
50 yards for each of
For
them.
3 different running
I like the
backs.
rotation because they keep them all healthy. You know, obviously 2 of these guys are dealing with injuries. Well, they're all 3 are dealing with injuries.
Hey. Not
Jalen.
Ricky Williams Jr.
Yeah, not Jalen. He's been okay. But the other two, they've been dealing with some injuries, so you get the rotation. You bring them back in a little slow, 50 yards each. I like that.
I like it.
If they can get that, I think they win that game easy.
I think so too, and it's the time of possession. You're winning
Yes.
the field position battle. I'm not saying it's going to take 40 carries. It might, like it did last week. But I do think I think he's with what he said in the press conferences. He understands with the way this team is right now, without an elite starting quarterback like we do when Tua's on the field. I said it, elite. He's got to. I think it clicked. That's the way I've understood it. We saw it 2 weeks ago. We're going to see it this weekend.
And even with Tua out there, they got to have that running game going to get it going.
Averaged 5.1 yards per carry, 2,300 yards on the ground as a team last year. That's how the explosives are created, because the defenses respect what you're doing on the ground. With the way we did it last week, if we can get the team, if we can get and earn running game respect against the Colts as well, you're going to see Tua's going to have an easy game against the Cardinals. Because with 2 straight weeks of earning respect on the ground, the Cardinals have no choice.
And that's what's been happening earlier in the season. Everybody was like, all right, we're going to take away Tyreek and Jalen. Let's see what you can do.
We couldn't do much.
And they couldn't do anything outside of, Devon Achane. He was the one player that was able to really show anything. But that's it, man. They got to get back to the run game. And if they can get that game on the ground going, then they can open up the passing, open up the play action. And start making some of those bigger plays. So let's hope. 3-headed monster, though. 50 yards each. I like it.
It's just an idea.
Why not?
It's just an idea that I had.
See, I like it because then it's all questions. Oh, who's the hot hand now? Who's getting it now? Who's going to do this?
Exactly.
Keep them thinking. Keep them on their toes.
The problem with that expectations is that it gets rid of someone having a whole hand.
Yeah.
Or 3 having 3 different whole hands, pero 6 because each of them have 2 hands.
Hey.
6 whole hands.
6 hot hands is really good. And then why don't you throw both of them in the backfield? Put 2 guys back there. You don't know who's getting what.
You don't know.
Just
what's going on.
Forget about the motions and everything. Start running a wishbone.
Oh, triple option. Hey, bring in the Georgia Tech offensive coordinator. We need help.
That is Luis Diaz. I am Will Althoff. Carlos Picari on the other side helping us out today. We hope you have a great weekend. The Dolphins go for a win. Fins up in Indy on Sunday, Lewis.
We'll be talking about a win next week.
That's it. This is Football Fridays.